Welcome to the Guardians of Gaia podcast, episode 1. I'm Bliss.
It's Brother Gaia.
And we're coming at you with a lot of fun topics today about psychoactive safety, supplementation, and just overall healthy environments within the self-advancement. It's brought to you today by ProVibeLife VITALI-T.
Yep, straight from the bro, Jacob Zakuni. Check it out, y'all. This magnesium and testosterone supplement made for fertility and anabolic activity. Grow the muscles.
Seriously.
ProVibeLife.
Even someone like me, like it takes a lot of like difficult, consistent, brutal work for me to grow muscles, and this has already got me like not just like appearance wise, but like results in just like a matter of weeks. It's been great. Like I feel myself getting stronger rather than just like what I do for myself. It's been crazy.
Yeah, ProVibeLife has supplied us with supplements for 6 years.
Mm-hmm.
Quality supplements, only to find a Shilajit and testosterone boosting. We even had some Ormus infused, like liposomal herbs. We've had some amazing experiences with ProVibeLife, so definitely go check them out when you get the chance. We'll have a link in the video for you.
Yeah, we're going to go a little deeper on them in a little bit when it ties into what we want to talk about today too. But yeah, definitely excited to have that as a sponsor for the episode. Shout out Jacob. But yeah, so let's get into it. We live in a crazy time right now where you can feel safe in multiple places to experience some really beautiful, life-changing, brain chemistry altering for positive effects, this sort of medicine like anywhere. And in a time when not even a century ago, you would be in a lot of trouble for having these experiences, even when we were like kids, like not that long ago for even us. So it's kind of crazy to live in this world right now where we can even have the conversation we're about to have, right?
Yeah, exactly. I mean, it was only a matter of time because at the end of the day, psychedelics have always showed that they have a lot of benefit, even culturally down the line. You go down generations and you see mushroom stones carved within like their own structures. You see a lot of symbolism that lines up with the beauty of psychedelics.
Oh yeah.
And once you partake and take it all in, really like have a visionary experience with them, or even just partake in microdosing, you really notice that there's a lot of benefits that are being hidden from us or that aren't being like well educated in the public up until recently.
Mm-hmm. It's not ignorance at all. It's just misinformation. It's just misleading, simply because it directly threatens Big Pharma, specifically. So, I mean, that's a good transition to go back in time, right?
Oh yeah, definitely. Well, I mean, like MAPS, which is the multidisciplinary Association for Psychedelic Studies, has an archive of all the studies from the 50s to the 60s that were done before the ban of psychedelics. And what they found is that there is a whole line of just mood, personality, all disorders that could really be cured through therapeutic intervention with it. But outside of those scenarios, people, of course, in recreation, at parties and festivals and gatherings, would take these substances after they came out of the labs, and also came out of the knowledge of the pioneers that brought that psychedelic education to them. or psychedelic exposure of LSD and psilocybin and of San Pedro cactus, mescaline, they really were immersed in something completely new and macrodosing 100 times more than we do now, right? Because of the accessibility that they had.
Oh yeah. Yeah, people were gone back then sometimes. Shout out to that older generation, but those were the pioneers that paved the way so that we can even understand what trip safety is now, right? Or what doses even are. Because that knowledge had been buried so far in our past, not accessed, that all you really could do was look at the carbs in the stone tablets and you see mushrooms in there. And, they're not going to put a trip safety guidelines in the tablets. All we see is that they coveted them. So our preceding generation and sort of even the generation before them kind of did that brutal work for us of like figuring out what it's like to take 100 tabs of acid and come back from it, so we didn't have to. Well, I mean, we did it anyway, but we didn't have to do it.
Right, exactly. Because they were on such an extreme and radical part of dosing. We now know exactly what happens when you go extreme and radical with dosing.
Yeah.
And we've all seen that to a point, right? It manipulates our psychology, breaks down neural pathways, but not given the right environmental conditions for our own bodies, that's not always, it's not as simple as A to B.
Yeah. And that's what's crazy about being able to talk about this right now is because we can perceive A to B right now. We can see it. We can see it through the whole trip. We can see it at the end just as clear as when we started because we've learned that it's holding an intention through the trip that allows you to keep that awareness. Back then, it's almost like clinical professionals had sort of an upper hand on the experiments because they were the ones holding the intention. And the patient was kind of just like, I don't even know what this is, So it's kind of cool that we can take the clinical step now as the one also having the trip. We're facilitating it for ourselves. Or sometimes we have like a guide or a shaman or something like that. I think about, do you remember what the name of that woman was that was famous for the LSD review after the clinical trial? And she was the one that was laying on the couch talking to the interviewer, just like reminiscing about the ecstasy of feeling one with everything. And like, why would I even worry? It's just a thought, and it was like super old, like barely color TV style interview.
No,
I don't remember her name either, but like, that's sort of like the level of it that it was at. I mean, that's a beautiful sort of like experiment to be had back then anyway, because that was like Woodstock era, right? But like, I feel like that was the wall. Like they couldn't get past that point of like being in awe of it. It worked to cure some people's like anxiety, depression and stuff, but that's like not enough for like a longer lasting understanding of like what they experienced and how to control it for self-improvement, right? So it was like very bare bone.
Oh, it's true because I mean, at the end of the day, they were only really given maybe a decade to even 15 years to really figure anything out about what any of this does for us in the long term, because of the government simply just being like, we're going to ban this substance because it completely threatens our narrative for pharmaceuticals being your dependent go-to for mood, for trauma, for anything.
Right.
Really, that's like not right up here.
What did the public acceptance of pharmaceuticals look like back then? As far as like people being like, yeah, this is going to help me because it was advertised to. Like, I'm sure the tolerance level was like way higher back then for what it is now because it wasn't as like ridiculous. But like it still was severely like not okay at the same time, even back then, right?
Are you talking about in regards to like
big pharma? Just like people from the 50s and 60s being like okay with big pharma's existence, and then like even like like a form of like how docile were people back then versus now.
So some people were just rising up as traditionalists, because after that era, you were put on two different sides. You were either for the illegal trafficking of substances, or you were against it.
Mm.
And no matter how you wanted the world to be about it and how you wanted others to be about it, you were still within this polarity.
Wow. Yeah, that's crazy.
So that's why all those hippies, those old hippies now, are coming out and, you know, they're enjoying their medical cannabis.
Mhm.
Like they're in their element because we're in an era of more mass acceptance
Mhm.
of what they used to live with in their 20s.
Mhm. Well, because back then it was entirely rebellious, and there was no aspect of it that couldn't be looked at as rebelling against what's okay. All they knew is like it felt better, and it was like more freeing, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's crazy. And now we have like statistics to back it up. It's not just like, because that's why they were called hippies, right? It's because they were just going with the vibe, because that was all that they had as like defense of what felt better. It was because it felt better than to like lock themselves into your like regimen and protocols and shit. It's pretty trippy to think about now, because like that was like a world changing revolution, but it had no rhyme or reason other than the vibes. Like,
Right.
And that's why now it's more accepted, because there are peer reviewed studies that show what they wish they had the words for, other than just the music and the festivals and stuff, right?
Right. Well, even those studies that were done, you know, were just locked away in government archives up until like the early 2000s.
Wow. Right. They weren't even put out until recently. The only thing that was aired was that, like, you know, the post LSD doc, and that wasn't like aired for very long. It was kind of like lost until like archives found it again or something. Yeah. And there was also Ram Dass. Ram Dass was pretty helpful for that era. And Watts was helpful for that era. You had Young, you had Terrence McKenna, you know. Shout out Terrence McKenna for taking all of those flips and combos and large doses and everything for us, like, so we didn't have to do that shit ourselves.
Yeah, of course. And then Alexander Shulgin with him and Sasha Shulgin's experimentation together as a couple with different chemicals that seem to have a psychedelic or psychoactive component that he could create within his own labs. Though it seems like a very crude way to live, because you're basically living as the guinea pig and you're creating experimental food as the guinea pig.
Wow.
You yourself are basically a pioneer of, you know, psychedelic research, mind studies that have never been even touched. And that's what we reference today. If we were to ever take those substances or even consider it, or even just be curious about like, what did this do to somebody, is those testimonials and those like, first person accounts. So they did the groundwork, but as we know, like there's no structure really that they came out with other than, hey, here are these studies that got hidden from the government from years ago.
It's crazy, because we've had a lot of studies being released from the government in the last couple decades that like were never really seen the light of day, just like rumors and speculations. And they all ended up kind of being true, especially about like the point of the psychedelic tests back then and the point of them now, if they're still going on. And but like it's like they came out as the right people started having the power to do their own tests, you know, almost like to even it out. Because the clinicians that actually wanted to prove that these things are helpful in the proper doses and the proper environments, it's almost like that was like the government, you know, they'd be putting out the truths and stuff when people are starting to look into it so they don't look bad. All that kind of shit.
Well, I mean, the experiments that they did were crossing barriers by which, you know, would label us as superhumans, because they would have people like Timothy Leary and the Grateful Dead would have people in giant, basically like auditoriums, like having like theatrical projections and presentations
with a whole orchestra.
Yeah, exactly. And then also the different thought experiments or psychic experiments of having one presenter sending out different colors, different numbers, different letters, and then having everyone just sync up to that and just somehow knowing exactly what the speaker is thinking of.
Right, like even the different neon colored fuzzy monkeys, those are total LSD colors. So like if you're all on the same substance and you start vibing with us, and then we're going to show you these colors and these images, you're all going to sink into the same vibe we wanted you to sink in. And not necessarily a bad thing, but we definitely know that there was control behind it. We definitely know that a lot of their songs were engineered by a different person. You know, that one old guy that they interviewed on the couch that a little bit later in the documentary, like he wrote a good amount of their music, you know, and they were just playing his music. Like that's kind of like that's an interesting point.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's not necessarily to make anybody paranoid if anyone who was at that concert. It's just the point of like there was like an awareness of the psychedelic experience that lacked back then, when the people who facilitated the space had all that awareness. And that is like a huge pivotal change between now and then, you know? Because like they're all beautiful experiences. Like anyone who you meet that's like an old head, deadhead, they're cool as fuck. You know, they were able to go into that and come out of that with their beautiful vision of the world. They're all amazing people, you know? They're so go with the flow people. But either way, you have to acknowledge you were a part of something that was orchestrated by somebody else to make you feel and your brain program a certain way. And that's ultimately what LSD was generated for, right?
Right.
We found out in the was it CIA files? Like literally CIA files of substance-controlled psychic travel through LSD to mimic the same portal experience you get with plant medicine, right?
Right. Exactly. Yeah. Because basically, I mean, a lot of the CIA and all their archives are going to show you that humans aren't just like humans. They're like, you know, extrasensory, like multidimensional, like reaching into different dimensions and timelines, not even actually within a present moment or like multifractal. But, you know, at the end of the day, that's just like what you're going to find. And within that is, well, a lot of the perceptions and the environmental boundaries that they encountered within the realm that isn't physical. It's a full non-physical, like energetic, like spirits, aliens, entities, like all within these documents, just openly being shared now.
You know, that's what's crazy is like, do you think they would have been openly shared if we weren't getting to that point by ourselves? You know, it's like they just reached this point where they're going to start asking why we haven't talked about this. So we have to just put it out what we did like 50 years ago. But it's helpful though, because like everything is helpful. I don't care what their intention behind it is. Like reading those helps us still. It's still an advantage, you know, because we can understand that's like closure for our genetic karma a couple generations back, you know.
Well, yeah, it's interesting that we have an era of like controlled opposition where, you know, even though it's controlled opposition, they have no choice but to give us inklings of the truth that we form into our awareness and intuition.
So even looking at situations where you're in an auditorium being bombarded with frequencies, no matter what their intentions are, or just like in a huge crowd with everyone having their own things come up in a trip, or even just being in a clinical space with a controlled experiment with a professional, there was no teaching of energetic defense, traditional or modern hybridized personalized techniques. Like there was none of that. And that's what we're starting to see today a lot, right? Is people learning how to control their trip, how to have power over the experience, at least awareness above the thoughts, you know, what to let into the field, who's going to be around me, am I playing my own music, is anyone going to interrupt me? You know, like some of the funniest Terrence McKenna speeches are literally about like a roommate coming home while he's tripping when he thought he would have the place to himself, and all hell breaks loose, and then the trip pulls into real life, like, you know, like how not to let that happen. Are you like in walls when you trip? Are you outside instead? Are you tripping when the sun's out so it doesn't fuck with your brain? You know, all that sort of stuff. There wasn't this general need to know everything about what we're taking. Even that was another thing about our previous generation. Like, we research everything now. We need to know everything, why, how, what to do in case of this, the supplementation, all of the above. Like, none of that. But energetic defense particularly. Yeah, like, if this is an energetically awakening experience in medicine, how am I going to deal with my energy spiking this much around another person? Or even by myself, you know?
Yeah, no, definitely. I mean, the ancestors, like all generations that utilize psychedelics, all had practices of sealing the space, utilizing sage, utilizing chants, prayers. So there was no senselessness about how to use a psychedelic. It was all structured. Though it was very much, you know, in terms of our everyday modern interpretation of what psychedelic tripping is, you know, because we have so many screens, electronics, and even just so much information with us, they still to this day have the most sophisticated and advanced practices because they lead to transformations of one's character, one's personality, and one's abilities on so many different levels.
Mm-hmm.
And that's where we kind of fall short. And also part of the reason why, even with psychedelics being openly shared, we aren't seeing the advancement of consciousness that we eventually thought it would turn into.
Right. Because it does take like our input of intention and our like the momentum we already have in our inner journey for that to even happen. Because like I think what you and I have both found in our own experience is like the plant medicine makes us very well aware that it's there, and it knows that it's there, and we're aware of each other, and it shows us the way, but it's not gonna like drag us there. We have to do it ourselves, you know? And that's why like if you don't have the momentum and you trip, you spiral, right? And like you don't really like get anywhere because like, you know, it's just gonna watch you spiral. It's gonna be like, I let you know I'm here for it, but like I can't like make you not do that. The things are right over this way if you want to come this way. You know? Yeah. It's cool though, because like if you really do something as simple as light sage or whatever your version of that is before a trip, and you do something for yourself, like either meditate, breath work, move your chi, stretch. If you just stretch and trip, you'll have a better time. Just because you did something to get in touch with yourself before you brought the plant medicine into your space, that's a game changer, right?
Mm-hmm. Exactly. And just setting like the intention of like, why are you tripping? Because we live in a culture nowadays where hedonism is very much just like a standard. Mm-hmm. Like wanting to feel pleasure, wanting to have a good time is all the time.
Right.
Versus psychedelics, plant medicine, life, that's not the way it works. And so a lot of these substances, right, people will go in with the intentions of, I want a good trip. Like I want the like, euphoria, like me blasted, like me loving everything. Uh-huh. And the reality is that that's just, an egotistic cover up for them trying to figure out like, well, how do I not deal with my emotions? Mm-hmm. And the plant medicine always faces them to process their emotions. Whether they're ready or not to actually do that is completely determined by the external conditions, the environmental conditions, and the internal environmental conditions.
Exactly. Yeah, your internal environment. Because when you trip, your internal environment dictates your external environment and vice versa. If your external environment's that noisy, it's going to influence internal. It's going to happen either way, but you can decide that it happens in a way that you'd prefer. right? Like, let's say I went to go trip at a babbling brook all by myself. As long as I had enough water, as long as I knew I'd be safe and I wasn't going to fall or something stupid, you know, as long as I knew everything that was going to happen, it was fully in my control. Let's say I had a tent, I went camping. Like, that's fine. No one's going to come up on me and start talking shit to me, try to start a problem. My neighbor's not going to get contact high and come and knock and try to, like, fuck with me. Like, all variables are gone in this scenario, you know, versus, like, you know, let's say you have family members or you have, you know, like an appointment and you just decide to trip for fun because it's something to do and you want to see cool stuff. Like, the universe is going to fuck with you, right? Like, ultimately, even if it's not in a way that you can measure, it's going to have some sort of effect on your brain that might actually put you back a couple steps just because it was used without ultimate discernment and reasoning, right? When like we could go into a trip being like, I wanted to see what mushroom has to offer me because I'd like to improve this about myself. And I want to relax a little bit in this part of my body. I want to let go of this thing I keep thinking about. I want to flow a little bit more at work, you know? I'm not going to trip at work, but I'm going to carry this into my week because today was my special day. Something like that. You know?
Yeah, no, exactly. So there's a lot of like intention setting that isn't being, you know, brought to the forefront about, you know, how this even correlates with our psychedelic experience. And like, there's another aspect of it, which is, you know, our ancestors, they utilized a combination of herbs. I mean, in ayahuasca, you see like the cappy plant and then mixed with the ayahuasca vine. And when you have those two combined, you have a beautiful synergistic experience. Same thing with psilocybin and blue lotus. Because you see in Egyptian pyramids, Egyptian architecture, the lotus flower combined with the mushroom architecture is a very common thing. And when you go to cultures over the world, Soma from the Vedas, you find that these synergistic combinations were not by mistake. When you look into the studies and find that these combinations are actually, allowing the psychedelics to work at a more potent and increased level for our bodies and for our experience, to even not allow for trip paranoia to happen, to not allow for your mind to become fogged or to become even just like interfaced by somebody else's energy.
Yeah, I can remember a time when you and I had actually been hanging out for a little bit, and I was just having like a late night, just like hanging out, tripping by myself. I wasn't like that far down the street from you, but I was having one of my last LSD experiences, and I remember my car got towed in the middle of the night. And you were the old dude. I was at like the climax of the trip, and like you were the only one that was like in a certain range for me to like be like, yo bro, what help. Like, and the first thing you did was give me some passion flower tincture just to chill me out, because you knew I was tripping super hard. You're like, okay, we'll figure everything else out together, but first I'm going to give him a monoamine oxidase inhibitor, or an MAOI. Right. And this was back in 2019, like the first year we met. Right. So, and this was my first time having an MAOI. I think you were a year ahead of me on this, or maybe even longer than that. Whenever you found them on Erowid, right? That was probably a couple of years before that. But yeah, that was my first experience of having a really edgy experience with a lot of momentum behind it, that a lot of people would be like, this is just what my brain's doing, right? And all of a sudden, almost immediately, having this combined herbal effect enter the brain and the bloodstream, because it was a tincture. It was a little tincture from mom's, and dude, it literally made me feel like I could breathe better. You know, like I felt like I felt my oxygen make it through my whole body all of a sudden. I felt less heady. You know, I was able to zoom out and look at the situation like, okay, it's not all over. We can find the car. It'll be fine. You know, like that was amazing. And that I never forgot what that experience was like. It's like, this is necessary for any safe drug interactions with an MAOI, for sure. It was a game changer.
Mm-hmm.
Absolute game changer. Because that means you can reach anybody in that level. If they're like, if you ever like are in a festival or some sort of like public space, even if it's safe, where someone's tripping too hard, and you know that they're on something that combines well with an MAOI, like you could feel safe to go up to that person and be like, hey, I have passion flower, I have blue lotus, I have cacao. One of these three, I got you, you know? Can you say, ah? That's crazy.
Yeah, no, it is crazy. Because I remember there was another time while I was on LSD, and it was about a half a year before I met you, and I was in my friend's car. It was the summer, and a hornet like sweeped in through the window while I was tripping. Like I was peeking in his passenger seat, and he's got this little coupe, and the hornet comes in, and he freaks the fuck out. Like he starts spazzing, bro.
Oh no.
And he runs out the car. He was like, bro, get out the car. And I'm just sitting there like, wait, there's a hornet over there.
Exact opposite reaction.
It's like, wow, that's fine. And I had no amount of fear within my body. None. I had absolutely none. Any type of normal reaction from me would have been like, all right, I'm gonna follow the homie, I'm gonna get out the car a little bit, maybe. Like, but there was no interaction. It was just, I'm at peace and I'm safe, is what I felt. And that was passion flower for me.
So, did you take passion flower before or after you tripped that time?
I took passion flower before.
Because you knew what's up. So your homie didn't.
No, he had no idea. And he wasn't on acid anyways.
Oh, yeah. That's funny.
He was just in his everyday, regular.
But that goes to show you, because like you're saying, like in other words, you would have gotten caught up in his vibe if you were tripping and he did that.
Exactly.
Okay, I see what you're saying.
Yeah. So it showed me, you can't even be tainted by other people's fear reactions in those moments. Even then, you can't even have like a fear reaction, is what I felt like in those moments. Because as soon as I took that passion flower, it was like I felt like I had a guardian presence with me that was preventing anything from feeling edgy or negative or not safe.
Right. And what had you ever taken an MAOI before with like LSD or shrooms?
No.
That was your first time?
That was my first time because, passion flower was something that I could get offhand because I worked at Mom's Organic Market. And so, and I would do a bunch of research trying to figure out like, okay, well, if I'm going to take a psychedelic substance, like what's the best way to take it? And I got led down the Silahuasca tunnel. It was the Silahuasca rabbit hole
which still sounds pretty interesting.
Oh yeah. And Silahuasca was any monoamine oxidase inhibitor combined with mushrooms, which then led me to think, okay, if these mushrooms use the same receptors as that ergot fungus with the LSD, it's like, all right,
this will work.
This is gonna work.
And it did.
Yeah, 100%. And so I gave it to everybody that I ever interacted with who took LSD and was like, oh, I'm not going to sleep tonight.
Yeah.
Because that was the biggest thing for me was I take LSD, I'm up for 16 hours.
Same.
And there's no possible way I'm going to get to sleep before the 8-hour mark.
Well, I definitely didn't get to nap that night, but like regardless. Usually, you could take a nap off of a macro dose and a bunch of MAOIs.
Right. Versus LSD is a stimulant. Like it's known to be a stimulant. It's known to increase blood pressure, like increase heart rate. Like it even send people into like an anxiety attack sometimes.
Literally.
Because of how strong it is. And to have it be that I can sleep at a 6-hour mark after taking LSD
Mhm.
was like beyond crazy. That's like completely taking a different substance in a way, is what it felt like. And so you find that these synergies that are missing within common knowledge of the psychedelic community are actually life-changing for their experience and could actually help them with integration and grounding later on.
Mhm. And now let's talk about the chocolate bars. Because low key, whether the people realize it or not, whether they're just jumping on the bandwagon making mushroom chocolates because it's what everyone else does, they know what's up because cacao is an MAOI. So the only thing is it's one of the more intense MAOIs. So now your hydration is the control factor of whether you actually get to chill out or not. Because if you get dehydrated now because of all that cacao, now you're still going to have a really horrible time.
Right.
But regardless of that, the cacao is probably the most accessible MAOI. If you can't find passion flower or you can't find blue lotus, because we're going to talk about blue lotus here in a second, but cacao is the most common MAOI because everything's mushroom chocolates now. Everything's mushroom. There's nothing bad with that. I feel like cacao is a wonderful grounded spirit, but there's some perversions of cacao where it's cocoa powder and it's been treated and it's been highly sugared. If you can find some pure cacao, especially from Ecuador, I feel like is my favorite at this point. It's probably because of Josh, but I'm okay with that. And yeah, like it's more of a sacred, gentle. You feel like you have like a motherly, nurturing presence, which the mushrooms already has, but it goes really well. I don't know if I would combine cacao with LSD. I would stick to passion flower.
Right. Because, well, with cacao and LSD, you're going to stack a stimulant onto a stimulant.
Right. Which
just is going to increase your heart rate to a point where it's not safe.
Exactly.
But...
And there's no amount of water that you can drink that'll satisfy you at that point. Because you're already thirsty as heck when you're on LSD.
Exactly.
So out of the trips we've had together, is your favorite still the Blue Lotus tea and then the lemon tech?
100%.
Yeah, me too. Me too. That was the best. Like any other time we trip, we have to do that.
Exactly. Yeah. Like the Blue Lotus, like, oh my God, bro. Like we did about, what was it, like 2 to 3 grams each?
Not even,
right?
We just had 1 stem and a cap each.
Wow.
Actually, I think we split 1 stem and 1 cap.
Right, it was 8. Yeah.
So that was probably 2.25 each.
Yeah.
No, sorry, 1.75 each.
Yeah. They were strong enough, but it wasn't just that. What we did was we had like an entire half a bar each of 95% to 85% like dark chocolate.
Yeah, we just nommed on that while we steeped the Blue Lotus tea.
Yeah.
And then we had a fat mug of Blue Lotus tea between the two of us. 20 to 30 minutes before we even thought about taking the shrooms.
I definitely put like 8 to 10 flowers in there.
It was a lot.
Yeah, like it was a big pot. Like you'd smell it throughout the entire house, and it was super dark. It was like dark. It was like amber.
And I started getting wavy off that before we even took the shrooms. Like I started calling it slippery. Like that Blue Lotus got me slippery.
Oh yeah.
Because it was like, woo! Like all throughout the whole crib. Like the rug was turning into slides.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know how to explain it.
I mean, it was crazy. And then like I had the passion flower too. We both had the passion flower.
Wow, we tripled the MAOIs that night.
Yeah.
Yo, I forgot about that.
Wow. Yeah, we added the passion flower in as well. And
that was 20 to 30 minutes before we even took the lemon tech.
Exactly, yeah.
So as soon as we finished that mug, we put, was it the lemon kombucha? Did we just do that again, or did we just make lemon drink or something?
We used, what was it, Health Aid ginger lemon kombucha.
Because that's what we did at our friend's a little bit before, so we did it again.
Yeah, and let it soak for 30 to 45 minutes while we were taking the passion flower, eating the cacao, and steeping the tea. And then we drank that, and then 30 minutes in after finishing the Blue Lotus tea, not even finishing it. We were like,
We couldn't finish it.
We were in the middle of drinking it. And what happened was within like 5 or 10 minutes, we were having a normal conversation and looking at each other to the carpet's like rainbow scrolling like across the floor.
Right.
And I'm seeing Egyptian hieroglyphs float off of the steam of the blue lotus.
Right.
And then I slowly start feeling this blue purple aura start rising to the top of my head, and then I'm starting to look at you, and it opens up, and then you had turned to the side. You stood up and turned to the side, and then when you turn back, your entire head formed into a pyramid. And I was just like, what is this?
In the meantime, before I stood up, when we were just like laying on the floor looking at the ceiling, I was experiencing us rising up through the ceiling, like on an elevator to like ascended planes. Like I was literally feeling, and I could like observe like any stagnation in the room trapping itself in the corners, just flee the scene. Like literally flee the scene. Like I observed it. And it's just like there was nowhere that wasn't like bright. I was getting blues and purples. I was also getting bright yellows. And it was straight passion flower consciousness. The yellow came in later though, because I did see it in the letters, but I was seeing Sanskrit while you were seeing the hieroglyphs, which was really trippy because like we were both seeing some sort of phonetics. That was definitely a shared experience, which is crazy, right? But the blue lotus took me to this place where it felt like some Bhagavad Gita, sort of like floral garden scene from and everything was like artistic. So like you were drawn like a Hindu drawing. I was drawn like a Hindu drawing. The whole house looked like a Hindu drawing. It was so wild.
Wow.
And that's when we started both seeing the rainbows.
Right.
Because it was like webbed through everything like X, Y, and Z plane. Right. Just like hexagonally, 3-dimensionally, flower life rainbows.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
from that point.
That Kevin May.
Oh yeah, shout out Kevin May.
Yeah, we got that Kevin May all over the fucking place.
Shout out Kevin.
The entire building was Kevin May's.
It looked exactly like this.
Yep, just like that. Except pulsing and shifting
Through
colors.
everything. And it wasn't just limited to the border, it was borderless.
Yeah.
Like, through all.
Everything.
Infinitely.
Even just air that you could see. It was just like...
Right. And that's when we started being able to pass visuals to each other ever since then when we do sessions, right? Like we always like see the same energy moving on those nodes throughout like air between us, right?
Exactly, yeah.
Shouts out to that. A crazy experience. But it's like sometimes I wonder if it wasn't for all those MAOIs, would we have been able to sit back enough to see that? Yeah.
I honestly don't think so.
Not at all.
And it's because even more so, the MAOIs intensify the experience. So you don't need as much, but yet you still feel extremely peaceful. And we're talking specifically about the line of basically temporary MAOIs, not Syrian rue, not harmaline, but simply just blue lotus, cacao, and passion flower.
Mm.
Yeah.
And just to be clear, MAOIs do not combine with all psychedelics. They don't combine with mescaline, or they do combine with mescaline?
They don't combine with mescaline, and it's because mescaline is a completely different class. So we have tryptamines, right, which is our DMT, our LSD, our psilocybin, and then we have they're called phenethylamines. I can't exactly pronounce it or remember how exactly it's pronounced, but they start with a P, and they're basically all mescaline and mescaline derivatives, and completely work on a completely different receptor system inside of our bodies. So blue lotus has been shown to be universally safe, is what we found. No matter what we've found, like as far as psychedelics, it's very safe.
Blue lotus is our favorite, so that works out.
Yeah, and same thing with passion flower, but it's the harder like herbal herbal monoamine oxidase inhibitors like Harmaline and Syrian rue that can cause issues.
Right.
Because they are not a temporary but a very long-term MAOI that'll sit in your body for a long time. These MAOIs that we are consuming are only going to last for anywhere between 1 to 10 hours.
Right. And even those shouldn't be taken every day because of the blood pressure thing. Right. Is this a blood pressure thing? Am I correct?
It's blood pressure, and there's like a couple of things where you have to, basically what the MAOIs do is they'll take apart these enzymes that your body utilizes to break down dopamine, serotonin, and any other psychoactive substances within your brain.
Right.
But then that universally is created as a condition inside your body. So then certain foods that promote or interact with those pathways, like bananas, avocados, tryptophan, like straight up just tryptophan, will end up clogging your body without having the enzyme to break those things down. So that's why it ends up becoming an issue, like blood pressure, heart palpitations, dizziness, headaches, potential death, because all those things are inherent to our homeostasis inside of our bodies. And taking an MAOI every single day isn't good for us.
Speaking of homeostasis, though, one thing that I definitely know about taking every day is nettle. Nettle is, honestly, I've even seen it affect my psychedelic trips in a good way, just because it reminds your body that everything is balanced and cohesive and it's okay. You know, nettle's not an MAOI. That's not why I brought it up. Just different note. But like, nettle is something that is good to reinforce the body when it's in a state of uncertainty, right? Like nettle helps your body when you have poison ivy. Nettle helps your body when you're in intense detox and purging. It helps your body not, go into shock, basically. It even helps you when you're just like not sure about your routine and you just need to feel like reassurance in your body. Like it's just anything homeostasis related, right? So I've found it like, even if I'm just microdosing, let's say it's not even a crazy trip situation, but I've found that I can veer back on to my track very easily with nettle in my system. I'm really grateful for nettle for that, because it's almost like it's multi-purpose. It doesn't necessarily have to be about a trip, but it can be. And it can even accommodate an MAOI situation. It's just an extra little like, hey, I'm here, plants gotcha sort of situation.
Well, I feel like our culture, right, we're so focused on consuming things, right? But we aren't focused on really like looking at, okay, what is actual consumption? And that's metabolism. That's our body taking energy to break things down and taking specific nutrients and resources to break things down. And we don't find ourselves preloading, right? We talk about, hey, eat a healthy breakfast, but we don't talk about, oh, we need 102 different minerals to exist within our bodies. We have like all these different vitamins and hormones and blah, 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 blah. Like at the end of the day, because, right, people are like run of the mill, like consume like, oh, caffeine, I'll drink my coffee every day, or I'll take my tea every day. We don't realize that we actually need certain minerals and vitamins even higher, because we're putting our body in that situation of, oh, I'm going to eat this every day, or I'm going to drink this every day.
Oh yeah.
Like caffeine, right? Everybody has their caffeine every day. Caffeine will lower your vitamin B. It'll lower your magnesium. It'll cause, right, for some people, it'll cause jitters and jaw grinding, jaw clenching, right? Swollen lymph nodes, like, and so that, just knowing that should be a part of your knowledge if you're going to consume it every single day.
Straight up. And that's what L-theanine's for, when you combine it with caffeine, right?
Right, because L-theanine, right, caffeine naturally is very edgy, very jittery, but what we find is L-theanine, which is found in green tea, is actually going to level it out so that you don't have jitters, you have clear thoughts, and you don't have a crash. And it's as simple as just having that amino acid inside your body that changes your experience and also changes your circadian rhythm.
Right.
because otherwise people will end up having those 11 o'clock, 12 o'clock, 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock. Oh, I need a nap. I'm crashed. I need another energy drink. Versus the person who is taking the L-theanine with their coffee or caffeine source is basically going to have, okay, it's 11, 12, 1 or 2 o'clock. I'm good. I mean, I could go take like a 30-minute nap real quick rather than, oh, I need 3 to 4 hours. Like, I'm dead right now. Like, it changes your entire experience in life when you know these things.
What would be the psychedelic translation of that? Probably MDMA, right?
Right, exactly.
So then what would save you from a crash in MDMA? Nootropics?
Nootropics, yeah, exactly. So you have MDMA and, right, MDMA is super stimulant, is known to release serotonin, dopamine, oxytocin for hours. And that's its whole basis of, or mechanism of function inside the body. If you have all that releasing going on, you're creating different electrical charges, you're creating different like nutrients that are needed. And if you're deficient in any of them, then your experience changes. When you have MDMA, you don't have enough magnesium, you have jaw clenching, you have teeth grinding, you have just general uneasiness and not being able to sit still.
So arguably, we should even combine L-theanine, not just nootropics, with MDMA.
That's also true, yeah.
Wow. Never thought of that one, actually.
And then with MDMA is so catalytic for so many different reactions that you're going to have random electrical charges inside your brain that are going to try to link up to different other things that it shouldn't be doing, which is called free radicals. And so with free radicals, you can take an antioxidant, which is, you know, lemons. You can take like a whole like shot of lemon juice. You can take a shot of cold pressed orange juice. And what that will do is supply your body with the ability to neutralize those free radicals, those electrical charges that are just going to wreak havoc and cause brain damage is what they found.
Wow. Yeah.
Brain damage specifically in the frontal lobe for cognitive thinking and focused thinking and planning, for the hippocampus for long-term memory and short-term memory, and even the mood centers of the brain, so you can't experience joy the same level that you once did.
Right, because it's frying the serotonin receptors in a way. It's also depleting acetylcholine in the brain too. Acetylcholine is the coolant system of the engine, right? So when you preload, like you were talking about, when you preload the nootropics, especially ones that are GABAergic, so that you can assist the production of acetylcholine, perhaps not just regulating GABA, you're going to prevent this from happening, right? You're going to coat your brain in a protectant layer of safeguards, as well as like a lubrication of the GABAergic parts of your brain to allow that protein translation to be way easier. And you might even also, like, some of them require you to take something for the acetylcholine separately. Some things like lion's mane assist that naturally, like teach your brain how to make its own. But if you can cover the acetylcholine basis, that's everything, because that's like how long you can keep that up for. Like, yeah, you got a little nootropic boost, but to really keep yourself from crashing out, you got that acetylcholine. Like, that's perfect.
No, exactly. Because acetylcholine, I mean, I don't know if anybody knows this, but the deficient of acetylcholine causes things like Alzheimer's, Parkinson's, dementia. So it's all the neurological conditions that you can get that cause you to not have a memory.
Right.
That cause you to not have your character, your person. Even, you know, people who have those conditions end up turning into not apathetic zombies, but just zombies that can't come into their own bodies anymore and exist. So it's kind of just like, yeah, this game of trying to figure out how could we can treat our bodies in the best way that we can. And, you know, these synergistic pathways of utilizing these substances is the primary way. I remember I was 14, 15, 16 years old. I was accelerating in so many different like science and math and engineering classes. And then I started taking MDMA. I would take it every single month, sometimes twice a month, without preloading.
Mm.
I did it 10 times, and suddenly everything in my pre-calculus class was very confusing.
Right.
Before, it was like liquid. I understood everything to a T. You introduced me to a concept. I practiced it for maybe like 10 minutes. I got it. And because of that, I realized, well, shit, I don't want to fuck up my brain. Like, I want to be able to think clearly, plan for myself, plan for other people. Like, it was just like that lack of like that dullness that I felt in my brain, and also in my mood, not being able to feel joy the same way I did, made me go look up, how do I stop MDMA from destroying brain cells?
Wow.
And I was led to a mice/rat study that outlined that alpha GPC, no, it wasn't alpha GPC, it was alpha lipoic acid, ALA.
What's that?
Alpha lipoic acid is an antioxidant.
Okay.
Yeah.
Naturally produced.
Natural produced, and also found in our foods and shit.
Okay.
And so alpha lipoic acid showed in this study that if you take a certain amount, which was about like 3 capsules that I had in my mom's cabinet, I would take that and I would take the MDMA and I was good. I didn't have any crashes, no come down. And it was because I found that mice and rat study, where basically they outlined alpha lipoic acid and high dose vitamin C. And then I realized, oh wow, my friend who takes MDMA all the time drinks a shit ton of orange juice.
So he's got it.
He's got a neuroprotectant.
Wow.
Yep, a clinically studied neuroprotectant that protects his brain cells from degrading during an MDMA experience because he's consuming enough vitamin C to create the deficit.
That's crazy. The heck?
He didn't know about it.
That's why we loved fasting on orange juice when we were on a trip. Because that was another thing we did intuitively, was we would get those giant Evolution orange juice bottles, like the party bottles.
Yeah.
And we both faced one while we would trip shrooms in the summer, right?
Oh, yeah.
And we'd either do that or watermelon.
Yeah, exactly.
I bet seeded watermelon also was rich in that. We just didn't know. Well, we could look it up. I don't know.
Well, definitely, I feel like watermelon, any type of really like sour, acid fruit is going to have that for sure.
Wow.
The vitamin C.
That's crazy.
So, yeah, that was enough for me to realize, okay, there's a little bit more that even the common person doesn't really know that I should really be taking like hindrance to about like psychedelics and like taking substances. I was like 15, 16 years old. So
crazy.
And so then after that, then I realized, okay, well, what else do I not know about? And I found the racetam class of basically drugs. They were pharmaceuticals over in Europe. They were utilizing them for Parkinson's, dementia, and Alzheimer's. Mm-hmm. They're currently banned in the U.S., and they were not banned about 2 years ago. They were freely and openly sold as gray area smart drug supplements.
You can still get them in Canada.
Yeah.
It's really weird, but it's also not weird at all.
Right.
Right.
Because of their pharmaceutical capacity. But we did not know that as Americans. They were marketed to us as smart drugs. And these drugs were created in the 60s and the 70s and found to protect the brain, enhance growth of dendrites and neurons in the brain, and create completely different metabolic pathways. They even help people with Alzheimer's create different pathways so that they could have a more social existence. It would get rid of the ability for an autistic person to not get social cues.
Right.
And I started taking those as that 16-year-old and realized, wow, this is all I needed. Mm-hmm. And I found that it actually synergized with my experience because it was a neuroprotectant, because it was promoting choline, specifically that engine in the brain that allows for memory and reactions to happen. All of that combined, right, allowed me to take my trips that were super blurry, super speedy, super like, oh, euphoric, like mind bending, like, oh, that's just like a faded memory in the back of my mind type of nostalgia. Yeah. Like, no, it was like to the forefront, like, this is a core memory that you have. You can go revisit it and live in it whenever you want. it was no longer that blurred experience that I grew up with it being within that experimentation. It was now this super clear, stable, oh, I understand why I had this interaction. Oh, I remember all the emotions that I was having in that moment.
That's the most beautiful way you could have said it too, literally. From coming from someone who grew up with massive brain fog, because I was allergic to almost everything when I was born, right? Like I had the craziest brain fog, and it took me so long to feel like I could keep up with other people. I was on an IEP without a diagnosis because it was literally just brain fog, and it was probably just my conditions of, my birthplace and some of my mom's genetics because she was super sensitive, and then just really not knowing like what my personal brain needed. Like this wasn't like common knowledge back then, right? So it's wild when, like I found meditation and I found other things around the time that you found racetams, right? But because it was around that age where I had to meditate, like literally, because I had drug-induced issues from the wrong substances, not the ones we're talking about, So we both found that clarity of mind somehow, but I still could have used racetams. And eventually they came when we met because you introduced them to me when I got some serious concussions and some neurodegenerative issues, right? Mm-hmm. But it's just crazy though, because like I can attest to that. Like we are all to some degree living within a fog that we can't see until we're out of it. It's I mean, you can be aware that something's up and you have like a little tunnel vision inside, you don't know how to explain it, but you really can't like see it until you have a widened peripheral. You can't define it, but something like racetams or anything nootropic makes it definable and observable. It's so interesting to experience and to watch how other people also improve from, because like it feels intangible. It feels purely intangible. And well, I don't usually like pharmaceuticals, and I would still pick a natural nootropic over a racetam. But what I appreciated about the racetams was it gave you a grid. It gave you a map of your brain, and it forced your brain to seep into that map. And in it directed all of the neurological impulses. You could feel it. Like your thoughts had a vehicle, and they could get from point A to point B and then get on with the train, when usually they just fall off the cliff, like it allowed you to remember what it feels like to get from here to there, and now we're moving on, right? And that's what I'm grateful for them, because like, well, when I came through it, I already had several concussions that year when we met and we really locked in, right? But you watched me when I was living in a mutual friend's house until we got our apartment together, right? And there was black mold in that house, and I did not know. And you watched me go from 100 to 0 in a really short amount of time, basically. And we would still hang out every day, so you were like, yo, something's up with this guy.
Well, yeah, it was a very short amount of time, actually, because I remember you ended up living over there, right, for that period of time.
It was like 2 weeks.
Yeah, you would come over. You would come over, you would Uber over. And it was like almost like overnight. It was like you lost the ability to remember 2 things at a time.
Right, which is like we usually are talking about 20 things at a time.
Right.
Doing 20 things at a time. We're freaking running a business together informally already.
Right.
Right. So we'd come over to work on stuff. I could barely get through one ring. It was crazy.
Yeah, I was always confused. I'd be like, wait, is he tired? What's going on? And then I slowly realized I was like, I think this is just like brain fog.
Right.
And so then I was like, all right, well, I'm going to get more of the racetams and let's figure out if this shit works for you.
And in the meantime, while you're waiting for the racetams to come in the mail, I turned into a full-fledged zombie. I can't even think of one thing. It got so bad because I kept living around the black mold. And we ended up getting the apartment like a week later or 2 weeks later, right? But I had to get the hell out of there. So I just crashed with you until we got the apartment, right? Because we were like, I just can't be around it anymore. But it was too late. I was already at 0. You know.
Exactly. Well, I mean, at the end of the day, living in the black mold, it makes a home out of you just like any pathogen. So it was just sitting in your body waiting to be introduced out. But what we did do is protect your brain through whatever detox process you had to go through, which could have been multi-year.
It could have been, but we managed to speed it up to 5 months until I was back at 100. I mean, I was still functional off 20%, let's be honest, because like, I mean, you and Harold helped me so much, like just like being there for the whole thing. Like, I don't know what I would have done if I was alone for that, you know, like it probably would have taken me a little longer because like I would forget to do simple things like take it, but y'all were able to remind me to take the nootropics. So even that, just like, and then obviously the vibes. Because, like, who has supportive friends like that? Let's be honest.
Yeah, no, exactly.
It was crazy. We were able to still vend. We were able to go to events. You know, we were able to make money together, like, all the time. So we were able to, like, stay present and, like, support ourselves. And nootropics sort of just became a part of all of our lives because that just reminded, like, even if we don't have anything serious, like, there's always, like, this is such an old place. All these buildings are so old. They've just been refurbished and refurbished and refurbished, but that base wood's probably rotting. Like there's mold everywhere. It's so trippy that we don't need, we like all defenses, honestly, all the time. Like not even in a paranoid way, like not even to inflict fear. Like there's no point in like inflicting fear to take supplements every day, but like none of us are at our peak unless we are nourishing our body, nourishing our brain every day. We don't need to take the same supplements every single day, but like, I don't know. Like, I bet that scared the fuck out of y'all to see that happen to me, okay? Like, because that could be anybody, you know?
Well, yeah, it could be anybody. But I was like, because of the studies, right? I had trust and faith, like, okay, well, if there's anything that's going to work in the world, it's this. Because this is going to take all those brain cells that died and just regrow them back, regrow all the connections. So, yeah, it was definitely a like miracle lineup type shit.
Yeah. Yeah, that's how I know I found my best friend. It was like, we were like, I'm not going to let you fucking go through that fucking zombie mode. Yeah. No, for real, we ended up switching to Lion's Mane after the first month and a half of that, I feel like. Because it really did feel like, I mean, it would be interesting to see how Lion's Mane would do from chapter 0 to chapter 100, you know, but like, I feel like it was really cool to have the pharmaceuticals because they just came in there punching. Because like the same reason we don't take LSD anymore and we just take shrooms if we ever want to have that experience is that synthetic experience doesn't have any sort of adaptogenic care for where you're at. It just comes through and it's just sending you from point A to point B. That's what it was made to do. You know, I felt the same about the racetams. I felt like the plants, it was cooler and more like heady to do it with Lion's Mane because they could scan me differently every single day, see where I was at that day, give me something, you know. The racetams are just like, all right, we're just moving you know. But I needed that. Like, I really needed that because I had no health bar. Like, my health bar was here. Like, I needed to have at least 8 to 10 hours of focus. And it gave me that. I could get to work. I could have a shift. You know, I'm like, okay, obviously I can't make jewelry right now. Obviously I can't finish an order right now. I'm freaking brain dead. I'm going to go work down the street. I'm going to go get a shift. And that those racetams would get me there, would get me through the shift and they get me back. That like, it was all I needed at that time. I could talk a little shop with y'all and then I was a zombie again. But at least that was a starting point. So shouts out to the racetams for that. Because like I could have gotten that with Lion's Mane, but it was so severe that like, I needed something extra. So now I feel like the equivalent would just be to double dose the Lion's Mane. Well, now that we know what a dose is for Lion's Mane, like something like that, you know, I mean, there's several things Shilajit. Now we would main Shilajit and Lion's Mane. Or a little microdose of psilocybin to a little psilocybin, you know?
Exactly, yeah.
Like that would probably be the equivalent now that we know how we can synthesize that really brutal effect in an emergency.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, there is one thing I will say though, is like the Bracetam class, because it is pharmaceutical grade, the testimonials that I saw for enhancing safety within MDMA use was phenomenal. I saw so many testimonials of people taking paracetam, aniracetam, oxiracetam, paraparacetam, and all of them saying that they could take 300 milligrams of MDMA, 500 milligrams of MDMA, 1 gram, 2 gram, and they don't overdose.
Wow.
Yeah.
Sweet.
Not to advise anybody to go do that, because you can't even grab the racetams at this point without spending thousands of dollars trying to get a small amount of powder. But it just shows you that if you have a strong enough of a neuroprotectant, then even an overdose can't happen.
Mm-hmm.
And that should be in line with our own evolving society that is trying to learn how to trip safely.
Yeah. So yeah, if you're not in America and you haven't had your experience with racetams ruined for whatever reason, pettiness, feel free to go look up racetams and enjoy it. And you lucky bastard. We still have alpha GPC over here though. You can still get alpha GPC for the acetylcholine production. One thing to note though, we found out that you shouldn't take racetams without alpha GPC.
Yeah, that's correct, because then it causes a headache. Basically, these pharmaceutical grade, right, trying to make you grow your brain is going to end up having no fuel, right? So the choline or choline supplement, right, is going to allow the electrical reactions inside your brain that create growth. Without the electrical reactions, you're going to end up with a headache, is what ends up happening. These neurons want to fire out, right? You can imagine like a spark, right? And basically it's just having a hard time creating a full-blown lightning spark.
Wow.
Yeah. So that's our neurons without choline, and that's people with Parkinson's, dementia, and Alzheimer's.
And that's trippy because it's like when you hit your head, you see a flash of light inside of your head. You know, it's like when you're thinking really hard as well, or you're having an ecstatic moment where like the flow state is just unlocked, you also see a lot of light, everything gets brighter. You close your eyes, you might also see the exact same effect. It's like this is just our brain is alive behind our eyes, you know. And our neurons really do create light. And it's foundational when like you don't have the coolant system in the brain, you will overfire and you will burn out. And even the nootropics have a dosage curve. And that's why infinitely my favorite nootropic is lion's mane, because it has a natural tendency to teach your brain how to create its own choline through extended use. And I can't remember the last time I took alpha GPC. I know you still take it sometimes. I can't remember the last time I took it just because like I feel so balanced with lion's mane. I'll take other nootropics with lion's mane, but I'll make sure to combine lion's mane with it because I know that it has that effect. And it's really reassuring for me just because I don't really like taking the isolated things. Like I like taking, like I always prefer full spectrum herbs, right? But I wasn't sure that I was going to find one that I could look at that way, and I did, you know, so that's just amazing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, definitely. Because I mean, like at the end of the day, I mean, what did we have before we had all these isolated compounds and molecules? It was herbs. And, you know, though people may say they're not strong enough, we have the scientific advancements and technological advancements to have extracts like liposomal extracts, like things that are literally carried by microscopic molecules and delivered to the inner workings of ourselves rather than being processed by our organs, processed by stomach acid, by, you know, our bloodstream. Like it really has just evolved into a point where, you know, those plants and those herbs with their properties are, if you take them in a concentrated enough amount, are going to be the supreme solution over the pharmaceutical unless you have a incredibly severe chronic condition. But even then, you find that all herbal remedies are going to be the more sustainable pathway for your body.
Straight up.
Yeah.
Speaking of bypassing systems, we got some sea moss here. This currently is the type of sea moss we're taking. We usually take gel, but back when we first started the whole gig together, right? Brothers of Gaia into Guardians of Gaia, we were making our own sea moss gel, right?
Yeah, we were making our own sea moss gel. We were getting it from Purple Moss Paradise.
Shout out Purple Moss Paradise and their advocacy programs for preserving the Bay of Jamaica. While there is a lot of people coming in there not doing the respectful percentage yields and harvests, leaving the bay in disarray with their motorboat propellers, this couple has been swimming out into the bay by hand, harvesting a little bit at a time, leaving enough to repopulate for the ecosystem for years and years and years. And we've been getting from them and supporting their boycotts of that specific Purple Moss Bay for years now. This is the second time they've had to say that until further notice they're not supplying it just for that reason. So we've been going for Irish sea moss in the meantime. It's very disappointing that that sort of disregard for nature is still a thing even with medicine. But you know, it's cool because Irish only has what, like 10 less minerals, maybe a little bit more.
Yeah, exactly. But they have completely different properties. It just goes to show you really, like, you know, the sources are everything. Right? We can't just depend on one source. We should have multiple good sources. And when we find ourselves in a situation where that Jamaican couple has found themselves, you know, they should have somebody to defer to, or we should have somebody to defer to for, you know, those primary, clean, nutrient-dense ingredients that our bodies need.
Right. So talk about preloading sea moss. We've like survived off sea moss before, right? Like we've had whole weekends where we didn't eat. We just took sea moss regimentally and had shilajit through the water, and we were fine. Right?
Exactly.
Just getting it in after. And we've had a lot of fasted trips because trips are more intentional when you're not stuffing your stomach with food and then trying to break down the plant. You're right. Like the sea moss completely bypasses the digestive system, right? So we're able then to get everything we need to give our body strength and reassurance, because that's another huge aspect is like if the body is weak and it's not well taken care of, then that's going to be another crazy thing to face during a trip. Like it's beautiful. Plant medicine will show you if you're not taking care of your body, like feel that. But it's going to be another thing. Like your body might disagree with the medicine. It might become a whole nother situation because your body's weak. But sea moss is such a long lasting nutritional effect, right? That it could surpass even that sort of experience.
Yeah, no, definitely. Yeah, I've definitely had plenty of trips where it was body focused, like transition, where, you know, I could feel, you know, have I been eating correctly? Like, is my stomach and my gut flora like okay? Like, am I hydrated? Like, have I just been eating mindlessly and just stuffing myself? Am I just like unnecessarily bloated right now because of it?
Right.
It's like, and those things that I would just go in my day-to-day life and just be like, or like, ooh, all right, let me go on to the next thing. Like, let me go down to my task list. Let me go in the car, blah, 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 blah. Let me go to the grocery store. It's like the mushrooms, right? Or any psychedelic experience will just highlight, okay, that's the thing you ignore in your body and you ignore every single fucking day.
Right.
You need to pay attention to it and you need to do something about it because this is an issue.
Right. Right. Exactly. And it could just be like a little part of your body, a little self-hate thing, a little tick. It could be a neglecting, or it could be an internal thing. It could be like a thought. It could be a bad habit. But whatever it is, it's going to point to it. It's going to be like, yeah. But, yeah, so something like sea moss in the diet or even just like having a routine or a sacred time, sadhana, right? Like repeated ritual every single day, just to ground in the body, the soul. And then like talking about the gut, like we just were, like the gut is the first brain. When we talk about like Montauk Chia's teachings and like our Taoist practices that we both do, it's like the gut is the first brain, the inner smile practice when we do our Qigong, but it's also like, nutritionally and supplementally, like, you're able to go out into the day and do something like grocery shopping while you're off an eighth. And people would look at you like, how are you even talking to me right now? And I'm like, well, because I trip completely different than you do.
Right.
I have a completely different preload regimen, and I can tell you don't at all. You can't walk or talk right now.
Right. Because like at the end of the day, I mean, the person who took enough magnesium, who had their L-theanine, and maybe off 2 grams of mushrooms, but took their Blue Lotus, is not going to be off the wall. Mm-hmm. They're going to be grounded, stable, maybe feeling like really good and seeing like colors, and even just feeling like the perceptions in their consciousness change. But they're still going to be able to do grounded day-to-day tasks, right? Because the plant allows you to be within this realm while not being in this realm, right?
Exactly. But yeah, the next thing that this sort of led to was not only our own nootropic and preloading awareness, but we started making our own CMOS, and we started making our own lion's mane supplements, right? Because we were like, first of all, the CMOS, like that's just, we have to put this up for people. Like that's omni. Like not everyone's gonna want lion's mane, but everyone's gonna want and need CMOS. Like that answers every freaking question we have. You don't even have to swallow it. Like you could literally just let it sit in your mouth and kind of go into your throat. If you can't digest food, that's fine. This is an emergency. You got it. It's going to rapidly absorb before you can even finish swallowing it. It's absorbed. It's crazy, right? So that's a miracle. So then the next was lion's mane, because we were literally able to watch me turn from being a incapable buffoon from black mold and multiple concussions to actually being past 100%. Like I was doing better than I was before, because there were things from when I was 15 and things from when I was like 7 that were like super traumatizing for me, that were like scratched out in my memory that I got back. Like I didn't even know that I was gonna get those back. I'd given up on those way before any of that shit happened. That was crazy. So we had to start growing lion's mane, and I started working on my tinctures. I did alcohol, water, dual extracts for like the longest time. And then recently I got the infuser, the Levo infuser, and started doing honey and coconut infusions. And that's what we have here. This is a lot of time in the works, having this neuronectar, what we call it.
The neuronectar!
And it's a 4-to-1 ratio of honey to coconut infusion. And it's, honestly, it's done a lot for us. I mean, we both take it. I don't know. I feel like that's peak, because it's so concentrated. Like you don't need a lot of it, but we take a lot of it.
Yeah, definitely.
And what was I doing at the festivals this summer? I was running around with a giant mason jar of it with a dropper, trying to find everyone who rolled the night before. Like, yo, take this. Like, please take this. And they would all find me later and be like, yo, thanks so much for giving that to me. I didn't realize how fucking strained my brain was until I took that.
Yeah, bro. Yeah, it helps clear the fog. I mean, yeah, it just goes to show. But yeah, sourcing's everything. Mm-hmm. Sourcing is going to make all the difference. You got to have multiple good sources. You got to get quality ingredients. You may even want to know the person themselves, the manufacturer, figuring out like, oh, like on a person-to-person basis, where do you get this from?
Right. And we either grow the lion's mane ourselves, or we get it from the local mushroom growers and natural grocery stores around here, right? Yeah. Or wherever we be at the time.
Exactly,
we get to shake hands with the person that grows it. Anywhere I go, I get to find the locals, and it's really cool because they're always on this kind of wave. Because like, who would grow a memory improving mushroom than someone who's with the shits, you know? Like, that's just so cool.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, as far as sourcing, I mean, yeah, we were doing the purple sea moss. We were getting shilajit from ProVibeLife actually.
But ProVibeLife also sells Shilajit as well.
Yeah.
Our really good friend, VibeMedX, he also sells Shilajit.
Yeah, we got some amazing shilajit from both of them. And what we would do is we would have, multiple frequency devices to infuse these mineral complex substances, right? Because we know that minerals, vibration, crystals, right? All those things go together. The crystals, the molecules, they hold information and memory. And then we have the frequency, which is able to communicate the information to the substance. So we would tensor charge our shilajit, we would tensor charge our sea moss, we would use tensors on everything. And if y'all aren't familiar with what tensor rings are, basically what they are is they've taken measurements, right, from the sacred sites of the world. Apparently, right, the Egyptians, the Mayans, they all utilize different measurements in order to basically create a field of electricity that's infused with frequencies that are resonant with the earth, right, that promote basically electrical activity for their agricultural needs, for all of their water structuring needs, for even their own bioelectrical human bodies. And so these tensor rings, right, we would utilize them with every single thing that we consumed. And I also utilize them with different plant medicines, right? And
absolutely,
they made all the difference in having everything be stable up here, having the groundedness, having the potent energy, and even the intentions. Like if I had an intention for these mushrooms to basically line us up with like the most miraculous people in the world, like our whole network and community of people, then that's what it would do. Let it sit with that intention for 5 to 10 days in a tensor ring, maybe even with a sucker punch, right? Which is just a crystal with a tensor ring that's powered. And it would change the entirety of what I was going to experience in that trip. And even more so, it was almost like a gift of multidimensional awareness that was within the trip that didn't match when I would take it just without it.
And we also gifted our friend at VibeMedX a scalar plate, right? So that he could charge up all of his, and he still does, all of the shilajit with that. And it works the exact same way the sucker punch would. It's just a whole flat plate that is geometric, and we would put whatever we want to charge up on that. The whole plate just emits it. And you can put pictures of people on there. You can put just like affirmations. I'm sure you put affirmations and the shilajit on there because that's the best way to use it, with a tensor ring as well. Like that whole kit was really cool.
Exactly.
But the whole point of that is the best way to work with medicine is intention. And essentially the same way that we preload our bodies, we can also pre-program what we're preloading ourselves with. So pre. Just like it's an ancient form of prayer. It's the most simple form of prayer. It's like I'd take my medicine and I'd be like, gratitude to the medicine first and foremost, but also like, this is what I'd like to get out of this experience. Please help me with this and this. Demand it, ask it, whatever you feel called, depends on your relationship with the spirit. But it's like, as long as it's with respect and gratitude first, it will be. Because it's like we all have molecular geometry that is responsive to intention, right? So you can use powered tools to infuse things with intention. You can use yourself, and then you preload yourself with these supplements with the positive intentions as you do so, with gratitude as you do so, because it's a sacrament. You are the sacrament and you're taking the sacrament, right?
Right, exactly. Yeah. Definitely the whole vibration of the substance comes into play. You even think of the origin of things, like the origins of like, oh, this sitting in an Amazon warehouse? Like, was this sitting in someone's basement? Like, was this just like freshly created and now this guy's like super excited to like go deliver it out and like send it to you? Like,
Right. You'll feel that when it gets to you.
exactly, yeah. And that in itself tells a story. But, you know, with these tensor rings, the sucker punch, and all those things combined, along with our intentions, we really clean the pathway of origin that may have polluted the energy of the substance that we may take.
Right. It could even be just from hands that handled it while it was being shipped to you. It could just be that one office worker that was like, oh, I hate my job, box of medicine, and you just feel that when it gets to you. It's like it could have been grown by the coolest person on the world. It was just delivered by the wrong person. You just gotta sage it real quick and put it on a scaler, put tensor rings around it. You know, we've seen mangoes turn their faces around from putting tensor rings on them before. Like, we've had lighters work. Like, it's funny.
Oh yeah, because it's all just like, right, the physical world isn't actually, you know, fully physical. You have this whole different realm of like maybe even beings you may be talking through the environment.
Yeah.
And with that comes the need to, right, hold our ground in love and euphoria, but also with respect to knowing that it's not just us here.
Right.
And we're actually, when we're doing those trips or when we're having those journeys, we're entering realms that are shared space. Right. All the way up until we put up the picket fence. That could be a guardian spirit like blue lotus or passion flower, cacao, like any guardian substance.
Right. And let's talk about some scenarios where we're in the thick of a trip, right? That's like a really thick experience, and it could be perceivably difficult to gain full awareness and or self-control in that. Let's talk about some techniques for like energetic protection or simply just acute lucidity, right? Whether it be through a plant medicine or just your own like input. Like, what are some things that have helped you, for instance?
I would definitely say what I end up drawn to, well, at the end of the day, I'll be honest with you, is that the MAOIs, right, have completely prevented me from having any type of trip anxiety.
Well,
So-
that in itself is beautiful.
Yeah,
Same.
exactly. So it's like I haven't really needed to experiment to see if anything else really works other than the sucker punches and the tensor rings. But what I will say is that, you know, the additions of prayer, right, all the things that we really go back to when we feel a spirit or an energy that shouldn't be within our home, is the smudging, the saging, utilizing salt as a medium of vibration to communicate, hey, there's a boundary here. Like,
Salt in your water or salt in the ground or both.
exactly.
But yeah, so the sage, the smudging, the salt.
Yeah, the sage, smudging, salt, even prayer water. If you can prep prayer water with like different affirmations of protection and always spray that within the space.
That's nice.
Yeah, that'll always make the biggest difference. Same with like flower essences or even essential oils in a diffuser. Like really all the things that create a positive frequency or energy that your body wants to make like a home out of.
Oh yeah, what's that one oil you always have in your pocket during trips?
Peppermint oil.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because what they've found is that if you do lemon tech mushrooms, or if you just have any type of like psychedelic experience outside of the lemon tech with mushrooms, you'll find that the period of 15 to 45 minutes induces nausea.
Right.
And that nausea can actually turn into, if you didn't eat correctly within that day, or if you're just having completely off gastric distress, you're going to end up vomiting.
Right.
Or you're going to end up on the toilet in cramps. So either one, not pleasant experience, not cohesive to your experience. So what I utilize is peppermint oil. and peppermint oil. I would screw the top off and I would just take a nice whiff. And what that does inside your brain is it turns off the signal that induces nausea. It just turns it off. And so you can't feel it anymore. And if it keeps coming back, all you do is you just take another whiff and it magically disappears again. And it's like this miracle concoction that I kept using every time I would have trip nausea, or if I knew anybody had trip nausea, I would always have ginger and then peppermint oil.
It's funny. There was one, I can think of actually 2 trips in particular where you spent like at least an hour next to me with the peppermint oil just in case.
Right, exactly. Because I mean, when it gets really intense, it's not just on the come up. Sometimes it just gets so intense that your body's like, what the fuck? And then stuff starts stirring and you're like, I think I'm gonna fucking, and yep, you just gotta take that whiff of peppermint oil and you're good.
It works.
Yeah.
That works. I've gone from feeling nauseous and I can't move to, okay, we're bombing this hill on the longboards right now in like 30 seconds thanks to peppermint oil.
Yeah.
I did roll over my ankle though because I was in flip-flops, which is not safe. But yeah. That's another story for self-awareness when you're off shrooms.
Yeah, you can't feel your body, your physical body, in the same way that you usually do. So you can actually end up with like long-term damage or scar tissue or broken bones,
Right.
And not even really realizing that you did anything until days later. That's a finding that I've found just throughout years of people tripping.
Now it's a double entendre.
But yeah, I want to move on to even like another quality source of like Blue Lotus, which is like Harmony Acres. Because Harmony Acres has like this 4-to-1 extra strength dual extract tincture for Blue Lotus.
Oh, is that the concentrate that we have? That's like the Blue Lotus resin?
No, that's a different one.
That's a different one?
That's a different one.
So Harmony Acres is the one in the blue bottle?
Yeah.
Okay.
In the blue bottle. And
we have that over there?
I don't think we have it anymore.
I mean, it might be empty. I'll just put it in front of it.
I will tell you guys that I completely mained that Harmony Acres dual extracted Blue Lotus, as well as shared it very well. And it is some of the strongest stuff that I've ever had.
Yeah, we got rid of the bottle.
Because the flowers, right, when we were taking them with the tea, right, they match, but it's like you have to drink so much tea.
Yeah.
This dual extract tincture is just like instantaneous, like I'm super mellow, like if I'm tripping, like it's enhancing, like I'm just like peace, pure peace and like euphoria.
Well, we did some events this year with that. And it's not like we really took many psychedelic substances this year either. It was very rare this year. I imagine that will change depending on the year, what's going on. But I felt like, you know, just the regular like anxiety of meeting new groups of people and being in an intimate setting for days on end and representing what we do every single day and doing sessions on people every single day. That really helped me. It really helped me settle out. Like, I don't know, I'm a social butterfly, you know? I mean, like, it helps when everyone's cool as fuck, but, like, regardless, like, we're expected to represent what we do as guardians of Gaia, and that was really cool. That was really cool, because, like, I can't recall many times I've taken Blue Lotus without it being, like, a psychedelic combo. So that was just fire to remind myself, like, this is... You can take this just to take this. This will just help you feel like you're just in flow. You're just talking to people. It's okay. Yeah, just like telling your body it's okay. Your nervous system, it's okay. Like that was really fire. And the Harmony Acres tincture was powerful. It was potent. And I didn't take enough to get wavy, but I took enough to like feel it. Did we just take that straight or did we dilute it in water? I don't remember.
I would always take it straight.
That's probably what.
Because I love the taste of the flowers, so.
No, it tasted really good.
Yeah, like no matter how bitter it really is, I mean, like the floral aspect of Blue Lotus is like.
Very nice.
Yeah.
Straight little.
So good though. But yeah, that Blue Lotus definitely has a nervine for me because I I'm so used to just being like on the go, on the go, on the go.
Right.
And having that just like take over, it's like that Blue Lotus would pull me out of that. And it's just like I'm in the flow. Yeah. Like I'm like jiving with people, I'm laughing, like I'm just in general just cheesing. Like it's an amazing mood booster, and then like it's amazing for like social dynamics because of how much it relaxes you within a social dynamic.
Right. And it like, you know that feeling when you get all like heady and high off of just being able to go back and forth with people and keep building on a topic, and every interruption in your brain and body from that being a consistent feeling and experience. It's like Blue Lotus really helps with that. It's just like, yo, we're just in the community setting and we're all building with each other, and there's really nothing in the way of this. You know, that's just so great. So great. And then you being like that helps other people be like that. Because now everyone's getting contact high flow state off you because you're just like, you end up just facilitating what a dope ass 10-person conversation. I just start reading like 5 different people's charts at the same time or some shit. And that's how they got to know who I am. Like, that's just crazy. It's so funny. Because like, I would not be like that. I wouldn't. But it's helped me to become like that because I need to in this line of work. It's like to be that social without second guessing being that social is something I've struggled with since I was a kid. You know?
Yeah, definitely. Well, it just goes to show you like the plant spirit that is within is not just present within that trip, right? Like you could be introduced to it in a very potent way within a trip. But when you take that and you take it into your daily life, because that's one of the things that you can take in your daily life that isn't going to psychoactively be like, oh, I'm not a functional average human being that can be productive to human society or even myself. Then, yeah, it really takes you into the matrix, right, with a guardian angel.
Yeah. So aside from substances, do you consciously call on your guides, or do you just feel them with you all the time? Like, what's your like protection ritual like?
I just naturally feel them all around me all the time, but that is my solidification of like what is my interdimensional reality, because the unseen realm is something that you could solidify up here in the mind's eye. And I spent countless rituals, meditations, visualizing generations of my family, like my mom, my dad, all those generations going back, past lives.
They're all with you.
All family and friends of present, current, past, future. Like that whole golden light family.
Just like,
yeah, within my mind's eye,
all their
every
hands on
single
each other's
day.
shoulders getting to you type shit.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And then just going around in different frames in my mind's eye, healing those people and letting that be part of the golden light network that we're kind of facilitating on the planet. So that's what right? I developed that. I once had a blank slate, completely white blank slate with no ability to really visualize anything else but maybe fuck shit, stuff on TV, and like YouTube videos.
Hey, didn't we both? I mean, like, this is what it's reserved for kids like us. You know what I'm saying? They got us there. It was just like the space with which you should be developing a consistent visualization of like what life should be or could be is replaced with the fuck shit. You know? Because it's the same space.
Right, exactly. And so when I stopped like watching TV and just listening to Vedic mantras every day from like Satnam Kur,
Mul mantra,
doing Omni geometry every single day, which is it's an AI assisted sacred geometry design software. If you guys don't know,
animator.
Yeah, we'll give you a link if you need it. But doing that every single day and having those things, as well as my intention in my mind's eye, doing that every single day. That for me is the, golden light, like shield, protection / armor that will be with me forever.
Nice.
And I feel like everybody has to develop that in their own way themselves, however they can see it and be in it. Right? Like you can't really be given it, but you can be given like allegories that are relative to you that allow you to create that for yourself.
So that's your guides and protectors visualization. How do you visualize your aura?
The same way that Kevin May. Yeah, we got that Kevin May.
So you see flower of life around you.
Yeah.
Wow.
But in kind of just like the aura sense.
Okay,
Like,
so we are very similar.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. So is it like encasing you, or is it through the entire cytoplasm around you, or is it like...
So there's a field, right, an outline, and then there's, right, I would say quantum tunnels that allow for me to be like within other people's spaces.
Or natures or anything.
Right, or anything, like anything really living or interactive.
So non-verbal communication, input, output. Those the quantum tunnels in your... That's fascinating. That's a cool way to look at that. Nice.
Yeah. So that's where I've got into. But it's like, I realized throughout my like even psychedelic journey, like all altered states are something to develop in. And that is through that consistent practice of every day having that ritual for the mind's eye, for your meditation, for what you want to see in the world.
Right.
Because, well, of course, the things that come up with people who don't do like a daily practice, don't even know themselves, is all the fuck shit. It's like all the political narratives, movies, TV, like things they haven't sorted out within themselves, things they haven't sorted out within their families. And so taking those steps to get to that point is like shifted the entirety of what the psychedelic experience does for me, what the altered state experience does for me. And that's just universal. Like
Straight up.
Every universal altered state experience, just like more potent, more clean, and more cohesive to knowing like, okay, this part of it's more productive for developing my character. This part of it's more so like, oh, candy canes, like food for my brain that's like colorful and shit, but isn't actually like, oh, like my character, my personality. Like,
right.
And those things early on in my experiences, I couldn't differentiate, but now it's super, super, super clear.
Could you argue that that's the difference between like genuine thought and completely influenced thought?
Yeah, I would say so, right? Because the idea is that you still have that connection to the realm that you once came from, if you think in interdimensional senses. And so because of that, right, we have a filter, right, for this 3D realm, because, you know, everything's tangible, touchable. But outside of that, we always have that connection, right? Just like when we go to sleep, we always have that connection that puts us in that other realm, wherever it is.
Yeah, that's beautiful. I have a very similar sort of grasp on my ancestral, but I see them like... Sometimes I have that like Avatar visual when we rewatched Avatar, how he got initiated into the tribe, and they all are like, they create like they show the aerial of all of the tribe's members like touching each other's back with their hands, and eventually it finally hits him, and there's like 6 people around him putting their hands on him, but it echoes out because they're all just like got their hands on each other's backs.
Wow.
And sometimes I kind of see something like that for like my connection with protection energy and like all my versions from the past, right? But then I also see it like sometimes it's like very dark and it's like a void state, but I'll see like the wings coming off my shoulders, and that's when I get like the samurai sort of visuals. But there's tons of them and they're all glowing kind of like golden sparks in the darkness, and you can see all of them, and they're all just like resolute statue protecting, yeah, it definitely feels like amazing, like very, really amazing, like luxurious sort of like embodiment of like, yo, we'll do anything for you type of energy. Either way, it still feels like my entire ancestry. It's crazy to be aware of, because it's like bigger than me, you know, and I just feel like very like secure in it whenever I get that kind of feeling. Sometimes it's non-visual though, as visual as I am. But you know, Avatar: The Last Airbender, when he sees all the past avatars, no matter how it manifests itself, it feels like that. It always feels like that. And but it should be like a feeling that you take with you. Like a lot of rituals and ritual knowledge teaches us that we should call them in for the ritual and then let them go. That's a really witchy alchemical practice, right? But it is kind of becoming a baseline now. Like we're always connected to that energy because it's in us. It's in us on a cellular level. It's in us on an energetic level. We should never be disconnected from our protection just because we left that site. Like, yeah, like draw your circle, close your circle, all that sort of stuff. That's fine. But you're always connected to your protective energy and like feeling like you're not alone. You know what I mean? Like that's a really cool way of looking at that. Because I always feel like my guardians are with me. I may like call on them specifically if I really need them to pay more attention to this, but like a lot of times I'll feel that feeling arrive before I even think of having to say anything. Because, you know, we're just in it all the time, you know. And as far as my aura goes, I see kind of like a cytoplasm around me. It's kind of like holographic though. And it's like, I like to visualize like it's like an orb around me, around like this far, maybe wider. And there are, of course, layers that are a lot wider. But immediate, it's like this. And it's a very golden, sometimes blue, white, but golden. And I'll see little like geometric patterns in the outside, kind of like liquid. And it's like just like practicing, like a really good visualization practice I like is like feeling like anything can pass through it if it's nice to me. If you're for my highest good, if you're not going to be on fuck shit, come all up in here, that's cool. But if you're with fuck shit, you might not really want to come near me. Matter of fact, as soon as I pass this, it's going to start going slow-mo, you know, and nothing's really going to be able to touch me, whether it be thoughts or emotions or like energetic inputs. This cytoplasm around me is electrical, right? Kind of like in Neon Genesis. It's like an electrical cytoplasm that's powered by my nervous system. So I'm going to feel what would have touched me as if it touched me. I will know because, like you said, the quantum tunneling sort of thing, I'm connected to everything out here in a nervous system sort of way. I have all that stimulation, so I can be like, all right, I'm aware of what's around me, so I don't need to interact with it and pull it in and explore it because I already know that it's not for me, you know? So I feel like if anybody practices things like this to a certain degree and wants to have like a medicinal experience, it's a good way to interact with substances. It's a good way to interact with it's a good way to interact with substances. It's a good way to interact with yourself and your own thoughts and yeah, like preloading, programming, all that stuff. I really like preloading. Do you know who came up with the preloading term? Was it Tom Bilyeu or was it like one of those guys he interviewed?
Oh, I have no idea.
Shout out Impact Theory for the nootropic knowledge.
I know 100%. I was just finding it whenever they would talk about MDMA on Reddit threads.
Smart.
Or like Blue Light Forum.
Oh, so it's been around for a while.
Yeah.
But no, seriously, visualization is a huge part of it. And then there's a lot of people that can't visualize, so this isn't to sort of like deter anyone who can't visualize because there's a million ways to set your intentions. And you can just feel it. Like, if you ever want to like program yourself really well on psychedelics, like obviously it will inevitably unlock your visualization skills, no matter who you are over time. But your ability to set intentions just by making yourself feel how you'd like to feel, you know, like trying to synthesize that sensation of like, I am relaxed. It only takes 30 seconds to override your sympathetic nervous system with a constant thought and belief. Like if you smile for 30 seconds, eventually you'll create that effect in your body.
Oh, yeah.
Right? It was about 30?
No, that makes no sense. Because your brain recognizes immediately the facial expressions
Mm.
that would correlate to happiness.
Mm.
And the studies show that happiness, right, even when faked, actually does something to your brain to make you more happy.
Right, we've just been taught on a visceral level how to perpetuate nervous system experiences, and those be realer to us than the natural changes, right? Like we've really been taught to be a perpetuating sort of society, when really you can create that inner smile. It may just take longer for your body to believe you because of the way we've been interacting with ourselves, right?
It's just like going to the gym every day, you're like learning a new skill. It's like all the same thing, training your nervous system, training your brain. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
It's consistency. It's not for like the weak, it's for the people who are like really care.
Right. How about our relationship with cannabis in its own rendering, but also combining with other psychedelics, like by itself and combining? I think it's been magnificent for intention specifically.
Mm-hmm. Well, yeah, cannabis has really brought me down the rabbit hole of like, what does it mean to have homeostasis in the body? Because whenever I consume cannabis and I don't have a direction for it, I didn't tell it like, hey, like I want to work on this project right now, or like, hey, I want to get through this task list. If I don't have an intention for it and I smoke it, it'll automatically go to, hey, you're dehydrated. Hey, your hip needs to be stretched. Hey, you need to take a shower. Like your pores aren't clean.
Immediately.
Like immediately it will send me into that, okay, I'm in a daze now, and the only thing that I can focus on is I need water, I need to breathe really deep, I need to go stretch, I need to go shower. And if I don't do any of that, I'm just gonna lay here.
Because it's an amplifier.
Yeah.
First and foremost, before anything.
And so that was my experience with cannabis, was like, okay, the intention center. It's like, if I don't set the intention of cannabis, which is something that I would consume every single day, at least once a day, then I'm in a cloud. I'm in a haze. I'm in a fog. I didn't get through that task list that I thought I needed to get through. I didn't like get to the thing that I was trying to like uplift my mood or lift my concentration or focus for. So now I'm just stuck in the days of like, you didn't use me right. So here's the balance that you need. Maybe we'll try again later.
Now pass me that sage. Need that. No, but it's crazy though, because if beforehand well, I mean, you can tell the medicine if you want. You don't have to. You can just tell yourself. But will it be even better if you facilitate that experience of having communion with that plant medicine? So praying over it is even more powerful, in my opinion. But just being like, and this is why I'm taking this right now. This is why I'm smoking right now. This is why I took an edible. This is why I took some RSO, whatever it is. This is why I took a dab. Because I wanted to lock in. Well, I mean, I feel like 75% of the time when you and I ingest cannabis, it's to lock in, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Because we found that when you do pray with your cannabis, pray with anything, but you pray with your cannabis, whatever you already have to have the momentum first when you ingest it. You already have to have the list in front of you and selected what the first thing you're going to do on that list is. And then you take your dab and you're just in it, and it becomes kind of like your office assistant. Genuinely, it becomes your office assistant, and we're just like getting one thing after the other done. Next thing you know, it's like we're in a shop together, because we're in the shop every day. So it's a wonderful, but it's crazy too, because you understand why it gets a bad rap, because all you have to do is not do that, and it does the opposite. It does the absolute opposite. It might even amplify your destructive tendencies, because no matter your relationship with it, it's going to take something you don't look at all the time and put it right in front of your face, you know? So it's like, If it's already in front of your face, it's going to be, oh, look, you already did it. Let's get to the next step you never knew was here. Where I help you do it. Literally.
Yeah, cannabis spirit is strong. I feel like, your experience with obviously any substance, right, out of respect for it, is doing the preload. Because it just helps it do its job. It helps your body feel more comfortable. Like you find with cannabis users, they have low magnesium. And so no matter how much they smoke, they're going to feel even the slightest bit uncomfortable inside their bodies. Like too edgy, too much anxiety. Like it's not just the THC, the high THC that allows for anxiety to come through. It's also a magnesium deficiency.
Right.
So, but yeah, with that being said, the cannabis right up today with the high THC, even isolated THCA, is
a neurodegenerative.
Yeah, it's detrimental to our bodies, like any isolated substance, really. When you take that nature and you take substances out of it that are a part of its full spectrum nature, you end up with obviously adverse effects. And one of those adverse effects with cannabis is the degradation of, right, the memory centers, the ability to think clearly not because of brain damage essentially, but because of the anticholinergic properties of THC. And it no longer allowing the body to have the electrical potentials to create a thought, to create a reaction. And you'll find that, cannabis consumers are known to be forgetful, but that's only because they're not taking alpha GPC prior to them actually consuming cannabis. Because if they were supplied with enough choline, then they would be able to remember what's the next thing to go on to.
And the other thing that's a great transition point there is it's basically the same letter scheme as GPC, but it's CBG.
Yeah, CBG.
And CBG is one of the most missing molecules or molecular compounds in cannabis these days when they GMO the strains. And CBG is responsible for the neuroprotectant coating that prevents neurodegeneration in THC, right? So we see a lot of THC, massive THC percentages in strains, and there's barely any. You got 0.01 CBG in it. You have a little CBD in it. It's like they want you to be brain dead stoner, and that's most of the dispensary we find. And sometimes we're really blessed to even find a full spectrum brand at a dispensary, is because it's an attack on our brain in a really close to home method that they know everyone's gonna get now, So, yeah, alpha GPC and CBG combined could be a beautiful preventative of such a thing. Even if let's say you, for health reasons, need cannabis and you can't find any full spectrum, then you could do that at the very least and prevent that symptom from happening.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, there's definitely a lot of nuances with cannabis, especially nowadays because of how we consume it. Like no one really goes over how do you consume cannabis? What nutrients do you need in order to ensure that all of the metabolic processes, all the electrical reactions, all the reactions in the body are going to go, and they're going to go smoothly.
Well, some old heads would probably be mad if you tried to tell them how to smoke, right? But at the end of the day, no one ever really knew about this. It's just part of lives for so many years. But our ancestors dealt with cannabis, the Egyptians. No, I think some people question whether it is blue lotus or cannabis leaf in the Egyptian drawings, but there's a lot of, if you ever read Liber 420, Libre 420, it goes over every single ancient civilization that utilized cannabis, almost every single one, including ancient China is the oldest recorded like verbatim recorded, because we do see cannabis leaf looking drawings and tablets and stuff. But yeah, the oldest recorded civilizations, ancient China, to use cannabis, and they called her Magu, right? And literally, like, am I getting that right? Is it Magu or something like that? It was pretty similar to that. If I'm butchering that, I apologize. But yeah, no, it's very prevalent that they knew what was up with it. They knew that it maximized intention, flow state, consistency. And the discomfort that arose is specifically to show you where you are lacking or falling short. And it has been introduced to our generation as an escape from them. It's crazy, but it makes a lot of sense because it goes with a lot of agendas right now, right? And it has now become just as accessible as alcohol. And we already know people's relationship with alcohol. We can witness it sort of being compared to alcohol these days with basically just like systems in place, when we all know that that's going to affect people's receptivity to it, because they're like, oh, I'm going to get in as much trouble as if it's alcohol. Like, people are going to start falling into alcoholic habits with cannabis, not like they weren't already. So it should be just as taught as it is available, right? So which is where we're kind of coming in here to spread the awareness, is like, since ancient times, there's been a very different relationship.
Yeah, definitely. There's a lot of unknown hormonal reactions that actually go into play with, cannabis consumption because of the terpene profiles, right? If you're familiar or not familiar with terpenes, terpenes are basically these essential compounds that link up to the olfactory receptors inside of our brains that allow us to smell different substances. We can smell things, we smell all sorts of things, right? Floral, spicy, earthy, musty, stinky. So we have all of the terpenes, right?
And some people think these terpenes are artificial, but they're not, right? They're actually found in bioflavonoids all around us.
Right, exactly. They all exist in nature, can be isolated just like anything else, but for the purposes of us, having it affect our biology, things like cannabis that are highly terpene rich can actually alter our whole hormonal chemistry. So things like lavendin, right? Lavendin, right, derived from or found more prevalently in the lavender flower, right, is essentially an estrogenic, right? It's a high estrogenic and can actually create a situation where men can eventually grow what is it? Like breast tissue. Yeah, exactly.
Or just inflamed, like, nipple areas.
Right. And so that basically, no one's going to inform you of that in a dispensary. No one's going to inform you of that. Your doctor's not going to tell you that, like, when they're recommending cannabis.
Like, even beta-caryophyllene can technically cause anxiety. They won't tell you what in the strain's causing you anxiety, because they don't know enough to tell you that beta-caryophyllene has direct control over your entire body's nervous system. And it's a nervous system healer, but you have to use it intentionally. Otherwise, you're going to get this stale, bland, full body feeling. And you're not going to know what to do with it, because you're just going to feel the space inside yourself. And that's enough to make anyone freak out, right? But there are all these different channels. And sometimes they get combined, or sometimes they're wide open. But yeah, every single one is like a different portal to a different part of yourself.
Yeah, exactly. Because, they're all just different mechanisms changing how your body is interacting. And so what we find, right, if we have a situation where somebody's taking in a lot of lavendin-based cannabis, right, then we have potentially a male who is docile, who has a hard time growing muscle, has a hard time keeping like a consistent, like good mood, like is not driven, like has lots of anxiety, or is just generally lazy, right?
Right.
And so that in hormonal play, right, is an attack on us, right, as men, because of ignorance combined with virility, right? Not virility in like terms of viruses, but like virility as in like this is a common cultural thing that everybody's doing, so I'm gonna get on it, right? So uninformed cannabis use can actually exacerbate conditions that we didn't once have. And whether it's not getting enough magnesium, not getting full spectrum cannabinoids, CBD, CBG, CBN, not getting the right terpenes specifically for the conditions that we're trying to mediate, right? All of those things, you know, are the difference between us having a great time and having a terrible time.
Exactly. Is your favorite terpene still beta-myrcene?
No.
What is it now? Pinene?
No, I think it's limonene.
Ooh.
But pine's nice. Yeah.
Why limonene now? Because I know when we were in PG, it was myrcene. We were both like always craving myrcene.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
It was because, well, myrcene, right, increases the blood-brain barrier allowance for cannabinoids. And
Right.
so my theory was, okay, well, the more cannabinoids that I can get into the brain, the better. So that was my logic. But now after experiencing what beta-myrcene has to offer, it feels more couch locky, sedative, and like I
Really?
need to be comfortable inside my body type of effect.
So you've started to try to use it when you're like winding down now.
Yeah.
Wow. Because this still makes me up. That's great. That just goes to show you terpenes are different for everybody and they change over time, even for you. Nothing will ever be the same with terpenes. It's just, they're so versatile. It's so fucking cool.
Yeah. Wow.
So what's limonene do for you now as opposed to a couple years ago? And when did you start to see this shift?
Well, limonene had always done its thing for me, but the thing was, it's like I was more so focused on psychoactive like absorption.
Wow.
Now I'm more so focused on, does it make me feel comfortable in my body? Secondary. First, primary, does it uplift my mood so I have the mood to go do what I want to go do?
Right. Dang. That's so crazy.
Or is it amplifying the mood that I already have so I go do something even more supreme? Like,
Sweet.
yeah, it's like one or the other, but it's like my go-to.
Wow. Yeah, myrcene and pinene are mine right now. Because, you know, I love grounding. You know, I need as much grounding as possible. You got more earth than me. Pinene and myrcene both make me feel like land! Solid land! Like, and if I'm ever overthinking, I don't really have any overthinking problems anymore. If I ever do, and there's just like a slightest bit, it's really not hard to stuff it out. But nice grounding strain sometimes is enough to remind me, like, yo, just stop. It's okay. Don't worry about it. You know, like, not in a way where we're bearing anything, in a way where we're kind of transforming the way we see things. Just reminding you, like, there's so many facets. Just zoom out and relax, you know. Myrcene and pinene have become that for me. If that's where I'm going for it, usually I'll just meditate or just breathe. But like if I am going to weed for it, that's yeah. Shout out to that. I also wanted to read this because I remember this when you said docile. It's kind of a joke. It's one of my friend's jokes. He runs Nope to Dope. Men enjoying weed and not having a panic attack is a sign of weakness. Their mind is docile and unprepared for threats.
Hey, yo, bro.
That's his bio.
Yeah, he's got the Yo, speaking of emasculated men, go get yourself some Vitality from ProVibeLife.
Heck yeah.
Tonkat Ali, Fedosia agrestis, Tribulus, Magic Boron with some vitamin
Sustanch.
Sustanch.
No, not the vitamin.
Vitamin Sustanch.
It's not a vitamin. It's a root. No.
An ancient Chinese vitamin root.
Zinc.
I'm just kidding.
Magnesium and zinc.
It's magnesium, zinc, boron,
Cordyceps.
all in perfect ratios with
Horny goat
cordyceps and some horny goat
Don't
weed.
forget it, you horny goat.
Yeah, and Tonkat, Fedosia agrestis, Tribulus.
The one I always forget, Uricoma longifolia root.
That Tonkat.
That's Tomcat?
That's Tonkat, longiforma, long jack. That long jack. You know what I'm saying? All right, so we out here with this ProVibeLife testosterone boosting supplement. And
So let's talk about it a little bit, because we've had a couple reviews for supplements through him, and right now he's not offering as many as he used to. He used to be the Propolis plug, but he recommended that we take Propolis with this, so we outsource Propolis to go with both of these. You want to talk a little bit about your experience with this? Because we can kind of relate this to what we've been talking about all day. Like, I would combine this with psychedelics. I would take this by itself.
True.
Because I feel like it would oxygenate the body. Anything that is muscular in effects, I think would oxygenate the body enough and give enough autonomy for me to really dictate my experience on anything. However, this by itself is an experience, right?
Well, what I used to take before this magical testosterone supplement was the Element Tonkat Ali
The one you get on Amazon.
extract. Exactly. And those two combined were amazing for powering through the gym and having a new sense of just like drive, stamina, like ambition. And when I went from taking that to taking this, this is the second. This is actually the first one, right?
This is the first gen. So
Right.
we're his guinea pigs, just so everyone's clear why we have these different versions.
We got the first gen, right?
And then this is the second gen.
Yeah.
What's the difference between the two?
So the second gen has like so much more in it. It has about, I would say, about 50% more than what it had before.
Okay.
So he went up in the amount of testosterone boosting herbs that we put in. Then he put in 3 perfect ratios of minerals that you need in order for muscle growth to happen and testosterone formation to happen. And then just from that alone, I take 2 pills of this extract, right? This perfect testosterone boosting extract. And I feel like I've taken 6 of those Element Tonkat Ali Fedosia agrestis caps. And
Whoa.
yeah, so I'm like powering through the gym with like just 2. And I'm like,
And you're saying that's equivalent to 6 Tonkat Ali caps.
yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
Because the most I've taken is 3.
Wow.
You're off 6?
Yeah, I've taken 6.
You're crazy.
I've taken 8.
Oh my God.
Listen, when you need the power of 1,000 men.
I've done that with Shilajit, so I'm just saying with Tongat, that's really intense. But we've taken a lot of Shilajit before. I feel like we've surpassed that with Shilajit.
Oh, yeah.
10,000 men is funny. 10,000 men's equal to 6 caps of Tongat.
You gonna need 10,000 men.
So, you're saying 2 of the first gen was equal to 6. So that's why that's why you only take 2 of this still.
Well,
When I
this
just took
one,
4.
right, because I was talking about the Element Tonkat Ali Fedosia aggressors. I take 6 of those. I only had to take 4 of these. This is the Mach 1. Now I only have to take 2 of these, and it's the Mach 2.
Right.
So
And I take 2. How often do you take 2? Because I take 2 every day, and I might miss 1 or 2 days a week. But today I took 4. I think I take 4 at least once a week.
wow. I take it every other day.
Okay.
Yeah. So I'll do 1 day on, 1 day off, 1 day on, 1 day off.
Cool.
Unless, and this is kind of a side piece for anybody who works overnights or doesn't get enough sleep as a man or even as a woman, is you'll find that your hormones are completely dysfunctional, right? They're completely out of whack, not at their optimal levels because you didn't get enough sleep. You didn't get the circadian rhythm signals, right, that sleep induces, that allows for the hormonal train to create itself.
Yeah.
So with less sleep, even 6 hours of sleep, even 5 hours of sleep, will put a man at 70% to 50% less testosterone.
Wow.
So because I had those days where I would have less sleep or I would be at a sleep deficit, I would take this supplement in order to ensure that my levels don't go so down so that I don't become a slug later. Because all that happens when your testosterone lowers as a man is that you just don't have the energy and ambition to go do things. It's like your reward pathway, your desire pathway kind of just like gets this out of way. Just gets out of way for real. So
wow.
It really keeps you on point. It really keeps you like chasing your goals, chasing like the natural inherent like signal, right, that a man has, because we were all just hunters running, trying to gather food, kill shit, like make stuff that makes our like lives easier. Like that's still within us.
Right.
It's just like that comes out even more when we have the hormonal levels in balance.
Right.
Yeah. So that shit is it for anybody who's looking for something to kick them in the ass, basically. Straight into the gym or straight into like your goals and ambitions.
There's nothing else to do with your energy when you take this stuff. There really isn't. Like even just like a dude stuck on the couch beating his meat. He knows that that's not going to be enough. When you take this stuff, you have to go out there. You have to get your energy out of your system. You got to challenge yourself. You have to do something to improve. Like you have to. Otherwise, there's no point in taking it. You're just a ball of energy with nothing to do, you know?
Mm-hmm.
So it's like, this really is a wonderful way to kick your own ass into doing something cool to advance yourself. I mean, like, anytime I take anything like this, I get way more out of my workout routine, but I always love testing Jacob's supplements and combining them with other things I already had because I'm always prepared for a level up. Like when he was making his own Aura Gold. He was making his own monoatomic gold and he was sending it to us in blends back in 2019 and 2020. And we were literally having some of the most insane gears turning on experiences. Like I could go into a workout and not even feel like I really needed to warm up. I would warm up anyway. But like I would be at a point I would be at in 20 minutes in the workout usually, right when it started. Like, you know, when you're working out and then all of a sudden the endorphins hit and you hit that point where you're like, oh, and I can do so much, and then you start like actually maxing during the workout.
Yep.
You take something like this and you're there right at the beginning. And then when you hit the endorphins, you're at a new plane that you hadn't experienced yet. And there's always something to build on, right? I know I was complaining about my soreness earlier from upper body this week, but like it still isn't like it would be if I wasn't taking something that was specifically for oxygenating my muscles and for repair, you know, because these are also going, like the fact that there's the magnesium and the zinc in there, it's going to be a lot easier to translate like the muscle tearing down, and the recovery is going to be deeper, you know? So it's cool that I'm not as sore as I should be because I've been going hard. You've been going hard too. You know, I mean, it helps that we do the healing practices that we do so we can get each other right. But at the same time, it would be so much worth it otherwise for us to keep going this hard.
Oh, exactly. Like the right supplements, like not even just like supplements, but just like the right nutrients, like just focusing on the right nutrients makes all the difference.
Mm-hmm.
Like the reason why we got through majority of our work this year was because of green coffee bean extract.
And L-theanine.
Yeah, exactly. So the green coffee bean extract and L-theanine keeps us with a clear head, flow state, alpha waves, so creative thinking, problem solving, and always energetic.
Yeah, we really need that Quantum Energy bar sponsorship. Quantum Energy, please.
Quantum energy.
You guys got us through the year.
They really just made everything happen. Honestly.
Not even exaggerating.
And then now we're moving on to guayasha.
That was actually the newest experiment we did. I feel like that one's gonna be the best.
Yeah, the guayasha, right? So basically this is like an Amazonian, I would say, right, if we're gonna make something relative or similar, right, in the world, this is the Amazon's green tea. Basically, this is basically an Amazonian root that has so many different vitamin B mineral complex, right, and then it also has the L-theanine along with the caffeine and essential amino acids. It's very nutrient rich, and every time I take it, I'm set straight into a flow state. And yeah, it is just one of those magical things. Not like traditional coffee, right, that you get out of the store, but like actually like 100% full herbal solution for like keeping you on point, keeping you doing your thing.
Yeah, I didn't like it at first because I'm really sensitive, so I just had to learn my dose, and then eventually I could work up to it because it was because I was already taking caffeine that day. Let's be honest, and I didn't take it at the right time of day.
True.
So now that I've had the proper time to experiment with it, it's been really cool because it feels very full. It doesn't feel like a shallow shot of coffee. It feels like a very full, reinforced, and you can tell because it's another full spectrum supplement. I feel there's no edginess. There's no edginess at all. I don't even feel like I need to take anything to cool it down. It's not something I need to account for extra on top of anything else I'm doing. I think the only thing is I just wouldn't take it at night.
Right.
I just got out of the bad habit of doing that because there's some things I would take at night anyway, just because I'm like comfortable with them. So that was my mistake because I should try all new things in the morning. But that was really cool because I don't know, there were a couple situations where you were having a stressful week and I was having a stressful week. And, usually you take things like that when you need to focus and lock in, you need some extra help. It makes you a little irritable. We didn't get irritable. We were chilling. We were still doing the thing. I feel like it actually took a little bit of the stress away, if I may say so myself. Because there's there wasn't any sort of an apprehensive caffeinated experience in that. Like, it was really cool.
Yeah, I found like same thing with you. I mean, it would definitely alter my sleep cycle if I took it past 11 o'clock. Granted, I, get off of work at 4 o'clock and am like up until like 6 o'clock. But like it would definitely keep me up until like 10 o'clock if I took it after 12 o'clock.
Wow.
Yeah. So it definitely
goes far.
Yeah, it goes really far. That's another thing, right? Like traditionally, I'm used to the green coffee bean extract going for about 4 hours.
And then we would have 3 to 4 in a day. Question our own health.
But then with the guayasha, if I just take about 3 dropperfuls, I could go all day, honestly. And I would think I would need more, but no. It really is just one of the prime concentrated extracts.
Absolutely.
So yeah, definitely recommend that.
I'm very impressed with it. And I'm glad I took the time to feel deeper into it, for sure.
Well, yeah, if you take because the reason why I started experimenting with caffeine is because of this one. So this one we got at Wegmans, right? And snap, hold up. But yeah, this one we got at Wegmans.
This is the only one that's gonna be able to see.
Snap. All right, Zoo.
In One Piece.
We got that Zoo.
Like in One Piece.
Yeah, I got that Zoo. All right, so we out here with the Zoo. We got energy and focus, caffeine and L-theanine, straight out of Wegmans. And it has green coffee bean extract. It was honestly one of the cheapest sources. It was $20 for, I think, about 60 caps. So yeah, it's a full 60 days if you really needed it. or maybe 30 days if you're doing morning and night. But what I found with caffeine, right, is because I work a night job, I work overnights. Basically what this did for me in the beginnings of my journey was trying to figure out, how do I not be exhausted at work? How do I train my body back into this overnight schedule?
Mm-hmm.
And one of the prime things that I found was caffeine, when we take it at specific times, turns it into, the start time, the medium time, the evening time, because people have their morning coffee. Basically 1 or 2 or 3 o'clock, I wake up, I take the caffeine, I take my morning coffee, and that tricks my brain into thinking, oh, it's morning.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, cool. 8, 9, 10 o'clock rolls around. Okay, oh, it's a noon because I popped another one.
Yeah.
And so that's how I treated caffeine, was a circadian signaler to get me back on the train of, okay, this is morning, this is night. So biohacking my body so that I could live comfortably, getting restful sleep at the proper times, and then waking up at the times that I needed to in the day.
Yeah, definitely.
But now it's just an overall productivity, enhancement.
Would you still use it for that purpose though?
Yeah, if I ever had a case where I had an overnight, right, and I needed to get my body back to where it needed to be, I would utilize it as the circadian signaler that I needed it to be.
Nice.
Yeah.
Because I stopped drinking coffee in like 2018-ish, and I was working an overnight at Home Depot. I was doing freight, and I was also working during the day, so I was doing like 70 hours a week back then, and I was doing the jewelry and tensors. We're both hustlers, right?
Yeah, that's for real.
I had to stop drinking coffee because it was really starting to fuck with me, because I would drink coffee during the day and night to stay awake. So I was really defeating the purpose of resetting the schedule, circadian. So I started only drinking coffee like as a one-time thing for like a 3-month span. Just like the act of it would spark it to like, but I wish I did that like intentionally more consistently, because it ended up making me sick. Like I got really sick trying to force the overnights, but it was also because that was like, back then it was Dunkin' Donuts coffee, because I was just driving to work.
Right.
Nowadays, I imagine like, well, I mean, there are some nights like, we do events all freaking day.
Mm-hmm.
And then the only time I get to work on jewelry or tensors with you is like at night. We have to pull an overnight shift. So like, it's really cool that can help. And we have like a more green alternative to that. Like just something to keep me awake.
Right, exactly.
And it's like,
and with the L-theanine, it allows us to not have that edge that comes with it, and just allows us to continue. Yeah.
That's like the MAOI for the coffee, not really.
Right.
That's tough.
Yeah, definitely. So yeah, definitely recommend L-theanine with caffeine if you're a caffeine consumer. Same thing with the Shilajit, of course. And Shilajit, any type of mineral supplement, in order to just make sure you're good. Make sure you're catalyzing.
What you got there?
I got this here vanilla extract.
Oh man, we're still going in?
All I got is vanilla extract. It's here vanilla extract. I tell you what, Madagascar is so good. So goddamn beyond good. It's not just good. Oh shit. It's Madagascar good. Look at that lady.
She's falling infinitely to the side.
She got thrown.
She got thrown.
Throw that ass in a circle.
Oh my god. Hey, buddy.
Alright. What else we got?
So what do you think is one of the biggest suppressants of testosterone in men these days?
Well, mainly environmental, right? We have a lot of herbicides, pesticides, chemical fertilizers, like so much that goes.
Aluminum.
Exactly.
Aluminum's one of the biggest blockers. The estrogen receptors literally think it's estrogen.
Right.
So it causes like inflammation in the body and these toxic cycles. It's in a lot of our foods, a deodorant.
Yeah, mold too.
Mold.
Mold will also link up to the estrogen receptors.
Wow.
And there's plenty of mold, and what we find is in the like nut butters, things that sit on the shelf for like far too long that are so that ends up causing a lot of hormonal issues. Same thing with like the fragrances, right? We find ourselves immersed in a world where there's a bunch of artificial fragrances, either via cologne, perfume, or somebody trying to utilize cleaning products.
Wow.
And that ends up altering, right, the chemistry within our bodies, because the chemicals will link up to our olfactory receptors to create an estrogenic response.
That's crazy. Isn't that horrible? I mean, dude. Fuck.
Yeah, at all levels. So, but with that being the case, right, our bodies, right, even with chemicals inside of them, can have like counterparts that will, protect us and give us the defenses energetically on a cellular level. One of those things, right, that heals us on a microscopic level or protects us on a microscopic level is this here foreign protein glands.
This is the one that'll focus way better.
This here foreign protein glands.
Oh yeah, so we were talking about ease of absorption of such things that will help.
Right.
We were talking about CMOS.
Mm-hmm.
So you want to explain what liposomal is to the people real quick?
Absolutely, yeah. So this is trademarked microsomal. What that means is basically liposomes, right, are these microscopic cellular delivery organs, basically, like cellular organs, and they travel throughout our entire bodies delivering nutrients, right, in and outside of cells. And liposomal, right, is the idea that you can make a nutrient so microscopic that it is able to be carried by these liposomes directly into the cell for 100% absorption. Versus your body breaking it down into the microscopic forms, if it even can, and then losing a majority of the nutrients as well as the absorption pathways not being optimal.
And that's bioavailability.
Right. Bioavailability, you'll end up with about anywhere between 10% to 60% of the supplement that you take.
And usually it's on the low end.
Right. And you're also utilizing your organs, which creates taxing on the organs.
Right.
Which, at the end of the day, either lowers the tone of the organ or lowers your longevity if you don't take care of your organs.
So this is cool because this foreign protein cleanse, it utilizes this, it's really, we've been able to see it in a lot of places lately. The first time we really saw it show up prevalently where like we couldn't get away from it was 2019. And that's when we knew at least 2 close friends that were experimenting with it. And then we just got to see it in a bunch of really cool articles. And we're like, oh, wow, these things travel from head to toe around the body regularly. And they've figured out how to get it to carry the solution throughout your body and to make sure that it's dispersed evenly. And the first thing we got to try it with was some cannabis, right? Am I wrong? Or that nano-emulsified?
Yeah, it was...
That was nano-emulsified.
Nano-emulsified and liposomal technology almost came out at like the same time.
That's why I'm getting it mixed up. What was the first liposomal thing we tried? Was that the liposomal...
It was the flow.
It was the flow.
Yeah.
And then it was the magnesium.
Yeah.
The flow was another one of these guinea pig, courtesy of Jacob. He's experimented on us with a lot of different things, but that one was really cool because it was liposomal herbal technology, including the monoatomic gold, right? So
it had a full, wild. It was called, I can't remember what it was, but it was basically,
I don't remember either.
They took mud from Shasta, right? And this mud had this blue substance that had accumulated on the roots and the mud around the trees at Mount Shasta. They found the same thing that happens over at Crater Lake over in Oregon. So they also have a supplement for that. So basically they took this ormus directly from Mount Shasta, this blue glowing substance.
Wow.
And they put it into this form that he could purchase to put it into a liposomal supplement. So that's what he did was liposomal, right? The process of making something liposomal is you're basically exploding the molecule with enough pressure vacuum, right? It's in a vacuum chamber with pressure, and you're just making it implode and then explode and then implode back and explode. It's that whole process in order to break up the substance until it is microscopic.
Whoa.
Yeah. And so the ormus, if it was not already in that form, was readily absorbed by ourselves and then gave us what you found in subtle energies threads is extrasensory perceptions like seeing auras, timelessness, or experiencing elongated amounts of time, right? Short or fast.
Yeah.
And then just overall, like a psychedelic experience that doesn't really end.
It's crazy that emulsification came around the same time because they're so similar. Like that process of like what it did to the molecular structure and then the effects it then had. They're so similar.
They are, because the nano-emulsification is basically the same thing.
Right.
But it was, what was it? It was emulsified. I don't know. It's like a different, I think it was because it was more isolated rather than the full
CBD?
spectrum. Because the CBD was an isolate.
Yeah.
Yeah, we had a nano-emulsified
So we didn't
CBD
get to
isolate.
really get the best of it because it could have just been nano-emulsified full spectrum cannabis.
Right.
Like they were just trying to get it on a more wide market, so they decided to use CBD.
Exactly. Yeah.
Wow, that would have been really cool. I mean, we'll find it somewhere.
Oh yeah.
One of these days.
Exactly.
It's gonna revamp itself.
That's the good stuff.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, that's what's cool then, because so when we talk about this one, Dr. Brian Ardis, he has highlighted to be one of the doctors that really spoke out against the mainstream concepts of what COVID-19 was. And it basically just, it revealed the plot, which is spiked proteins have been around since prehistoric times, and they invade our pores. And there's also shrapnel-like microscopic metal in our pores from our environment. There's also spike protein, which invade our system through the exact same means. And our body responds by closing up. And it honestly creates most of the symptoms that people would call COVID. And these sorts of things create a force field around your body that does not allow the spike proteins to enter. It'll bounce off, as well as cleanse and purge all that exists in your body, whether it be spike proteins or just heavy metal shrapnel from your body. And you got to see what it looks like firsthand when you take a lot of this and you really need it. I was floored for a few days there, right?
Yeah, definitely. And I mean, you take that, I've heard multiple reports, like our neighbor takes it and she notices that she's expended a lot more mucus, just throughout her body, like through sneezing, through coughing, through stool, like pretty much the whole 9 yards. Like it just makes you expend out mucus, but it's specifically the mucus that has been, I would feel like almost like a new class of mucus, where it's literally designed to house all of the extremely toxic substances that your body just does not want you to absorb.
Wow.
Because the thing, at least that happens with me when I take this, is that I'll see the it's like little black metallic hairs or fibers, and they'll come out and they'll all be in like a pocket.
Wow.
Yeah, like mucus.
Wow.
And it happens every single time I take this, and it's been
like
just
orally?
like detox. Yeah.
Wow. I will also get it's like fibrous. And it really is just the accumulation, because it's brought to the surface to be let out, and it's all clumped together because it's like magnetizing all of them. The biggest ingredient in this is cuprous nicotinic acid. And it's because they found out that, similar to cannabis, nicotine has the ability to detox and protect the body from spike proteins, right?
Exactly. So nicotine is actually found because of we have naturally had nicotine receptors for generations. And so it's brought us to the forefront of like realizing, okay, this isn't just like help with, having energy. This actually helps with sharpness, like Alzheimer's, dementia, the whole neurological, like needing to have more ACH and choline inside your body.
Right.
Like this also goes for the entirety of the immune system. Like it helps basically activate different parts of your body to enhance the reaction of white blood cells in the body. And just overall, the nicotine increases the amino acids that your body utilizes in order to get rid of really toxic heavy metals or forever chemicals inside your body.
And this is the safest way to consume it at the same time.
Yeah, I would say so because of the liposomal concoction, and then it's not just the cuprous nicotinic acid; it's also the lobelia or organic lobelia that contains the nicotine as well. So you're getting it from a full spectrum plant extract.
Yeah. It's really been profound because we've gotten to a point where it's like, literally saved us because you now, like we've come to be able to recognize we were talking about it the other day. It's like your body's reaction to being around spike proteins when you didn't have them in your system before. You can feel your skin tighten up now. You can feel the sharpness. You can feel yourself react to being like, and you're like, I need to take that. I need to take that cleanse. We don't be taking it every day. We take it when we need to, and it works for like the long term. It's crazy. Sometimes we take too much on purpose. So I highly recommend it. I'm going to show this again. Global Healing Foundation, right?
Global Healing. I don't know if it's foundation.
Just Global Healing, I guess.
It's like Global Healing.
Global Healing Center.
Global Healing Center.
In Texas. Dr. Brian Artis, man, that stuff, really, really nice.
Yeah, we'll give you a link for that too.
Before I forget, I want to go back and talk about this one real quick. He wanted us to take Propolis specifically. So Jacob at ProVibeLife usually offers Propolis himself. As of right now, he's not offering Propolis. That's okay. You can find Propolis in so many different areas.
We'll have a link for that too.
Yeah, he actually provided us a link to one he'd prefer us to order if we did get one. So we'll put that link in the description. But yeah, Propolis Propolis is already a very miracle supplement. It's in the cancer regimen. It's in the stage 4 cancer regimen. And it's also really important for bioavailability, right? Because bee products are eternal. Shelf life is amazing. Hundreds, thousands of years. But Propolis also increases your body's retention rate of whatever you're taking it with, right?
I think it's just an anti-pathogenic. It's literally just like a bunch of resins and waxes collected from like
we'll kill everything.
All the local flora, yeah. So it's like essential oils, but like also concocted as a wax that the bees, with every intention or by their design, has allowed a like fundamental like clay structure or something to like no longer be able to be affected by microorganisms. Like it's just like super, I would say like waxy, right? But like a waxy dose of like essential oils that your body like happily takes in and then like spreads throughout your entire body to kill everything.
So it's just like clean shop, clean house.
Yeah. And then like on the side, it does help with, because I don't know if it's because of the like essential oil resin byproducts or whatever, but it's like it has like a fertility boosting effect.
Whoa.
So they'll find that it helps with like people who are like premenopause, postmenopause.
That's fine.
It'll help with like sperm health and like testosterone production, and that's just overall for all like the bee supplements to begin with. But like the royal jelly is like fertility specific, so the thing with the propolis is like kind of fertility specific too, but it's mainly that anti-pathogenic, gets rid of all the shit. And then on top of that, like the royal jelly plus the raw honey and the bee pollen are like your full complex of macros. So like your carbs, your proteins, even your fats, as well as all the amino acids that you need in a day, which is really incredible because then it really brings into logic like, okay, the things that feed off of this, you've seen bears eat like an entire, like get into like a beehive and like try to eat all the honey for the honeycombs and everything. So it's just like,
But it also must know that there's this innate property that's going to preserve its life as well and help it fight against things in the wild, pathogenic, and God knows what.
yeah, exactly.
That's crazy. I just feel like it opens me up.
Well, it is a high antioxidant.
True.
So you'll find that anything that's a high antioxidant will allow more oxygen to flow through the body without being encumbered by maybe like random carbon dioxide or random like just different toxins being released.
So it'll at least manage that like function.
Mm-hmm.
Gotcha.
Yeah. But main action is like pathogens. And then for some reason, right, anti-pathogenic, it's also anti-cancer. So whatever your body, it just recognizes, it turns on, this cell isn't healthy, so it needs to go.
Fire.
Somehow.
Fucking
It
fire.
just lined up like that. So yeah, it's just this overall, like it's shown that like it can help with like STDs, like HSV1, HSV2.
Mm-hmm.
It is, I would say, a miracle supplement when taken in large concentrations.
Another thing I would follow Propolis up with is ozonated water, ozonated oil. We have Ozone here. Ozonated products from the homie. You want to take a couple? I'll take a couple. But yeah, these are ozonated items, and highly recommend. This is not like typical ozone. This is infused ozone. So this is different from taking an ozone capsule or even ozone gas for that matter. It's really fire because ozone hunts down and destroys everything. So in microdose forms or infused forms, it can be safe for ingestion to then entrust it to hunt down and kill what is hurting you in your body. It can be used topically. It can be used orally in a safe manner, in a specific manner. But yeah, this is locally sourced from here in Pennsylvania. And this one is a high energy salve. This one's topical only. This one is meant for direct ingestion. Oh shit. But the way that it usually accommodates, let's talk a little bit about the way it usually accommodates everything else in a regimen for like.
Yeah, I got that, Kevin. Right.
Anyway, ozone with everything else we talked about. As far as.
Yo.
But yeah, ozone and the heavy hitters combo. Talk to me.
So what you gotta do here, right? You got this here ozone. This here ozone has been proven for about 40 to 30 years that it has been able to destroy everything within the body that does not belong. This here ozone oil.
Hey, you were even talking about Propolis's ability to fight HSV and included things like herpes, any sort of STDs. You're also talking about Propolis's ability to fight cancer. How would you compare ozone? Would you say that's equivalent or even greater?
I would say relative and greater.
I would agree.
What this here ozone does, right? It breaks down, just like the gummy waxy resin substances, it breaks down the protein outer walls of viruses. It breaks down the outer walls of fungi, bacteria, any type of mold. And it really just makes it explode. It makes it dissolve. And the pieces that are left could be potentially toxins, right? And the thing that we don't have with the propolis is a binder, right? A mediation for neutralization of toxic substances.
So maybe this would come into play around that.
Right. We could utilize lobelia and nicotine as well. But what we can also utilize is the ozone. And the ozone creates a situation where, right, you have 3 oxygens, right? That's what ozone is, 3 oxygen molecules. You have 3 oxygen molecules that are not in a stable bond.
Mm-hmm.
They're completely chaotic. They want to attach to something. The next thing that they want to attach to is a toxin to neutralize it. So that third oxygen will leave to go neutralize the heavy metal. It'll go to neutralize the mold. It'll go to neutralize the bacteria. And what will come about is you have oxygen, right? And then you also have the pathogen disintegrating with every ozone turning into oxygen. So you then have oxygenation happening, which causes an anti-inflammatory effect, oxygenation of just general cells and all cellular activity. And then on top of that, you have every single oxygen that parted off during that interaction disrupting the outer walls of every microorganism that does not belong inside your body.
So you're just sending spare oxygen in where it's needed, and the rest just happens as a symptom.
Mm-hmm.
That's really cool.
Yeah.
That's really, really cool.
And then what happens is because of all that oxygen, it promotes your body to grow. So you'll find that this pairs very well with stem cell therapies, and even by itself is a stem cell therapy.
That's beautiful. Because it's so simple. And when you think about it, as long as you find someone with the proper machine and the credentials, it's very easy to find and make.
Exactly.
It's just an expensive machine. It's really cool.
$1,800 machine. From what I heard, they have been found to be $96,000 as of 3 or 4 years ago, right? So as the technological advancements in the product and development and the awareness of these things comes into play, we start to find that, okay, there's several companies in America that I can source an ozone kit from, right? That's simply just a matter of me taking out the money to go get it, right? And then learn how to mess with the oxygen tank and blah, 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 blah. Now I'm bubbling my water, doing the bubbling of the oil, and now I'm giving it to friends and family. It's one of those just very easy investments that takes things for the long term and makes it a lot easier. I mean, just imagining, okay, well, every pathogen inside my body is going to have a hard time sitting in here. Does that include like bad bacteria that may like fester inside my mouth? Like, you know, does that include like tooth infections? Like, includes every infection, includes, yeah, pretty much everything, right? So, yeah, that's it. Your ozone.
I
Like,
love how it covers everything.
exactly.
I still don't know a lot about it. You've done more research on it than I have at this point, so that's really cool. I learn more about it every time we talk about it, honestly. But it's fire that it can cover every single base, and it's virtually safe in all sort of interactions. It even sometimes assists other things you're doing. You just have to look it up to make sure. But like, it's very versatile.
Yeah, it definitely in different forms you can take it. I mean, you can have it in oil, right? And you know, having that as an oil, swishing with it and drinking it, you're preserving the microbiota of the body. That helps with leaky gut, of course, and helps seal up like all those like holes that may be created from a leaky gut.
Yeah.
Yeah, like it really is just like a patch, but like with oxygen internally.
Yeah. Well, I mean, that stimulates you to even heal tissue and holes and whatnot anyway, right? That's like the mana. Like the same way that water is able to carry hydrogen. That's why we want to hydrolyze our water, so there's extra hydrogen for our body to then use to do other things. Same with this oxygen. It's like we just need the mana to be able to do the cellular repair and the physical regeneration, right? So any modality we can to introduce that to our body on a deeper level is amazing.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, we have the salve, you put that on topically. The oil, you take that internally. You know what it is. We got the ozone oil, we got the ozone water, we got ozone salves.
And these are all variables that we introduce to our internal ecosystem and then the world of y'all about how to remain in control of your own body, disciplined in yourself, intentional, protected, safe, no matter what you do, what you experiment with, what you experience, and to be able to put down the baseline of your internal environment over anything, whether you welcomed it in or whether it was uninvited. Just the fact that this is how I am and this is my terrain theory, right?
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
Terrain theory is if something is introduced to your physical body, whether it be a virus or a thought or anything, if your terrain is intact enough, then you trump whatever just said hello. And you will always overcome that inferior entity being the virus, or like it's literally just to stimulate your immune response and make you stronger, right? And you creating symptoms is you creating the antibodies for everything you come into contact with, because you are the ultimate adaptable creature. You're the ultimate adaptable organism. It's omni-adaptable organism. So it's really cool that we can have all of these things that don't necessarily override that, but they just act as assists and what do you call it? They act as they act as assists, and they act as enhancements of that function. Old man Gaia.
I'll tell you what now, Sonny.
It's been a very fun time creating content with you.
I was sitting here talking for like 3 hours. I tell you what now, Sonny.
I think it's time we go have some dinner.
I ain't had no bite. We all had to go get a bite. I say,
Let's go back to that one place we always used to go to when we was little kids.
what you talking about?
Remember that one spot?
You talking about Checkers?
I'm talking about Taco Bamba over in DC.
Oh, shit.
Oh, remember we used to go to that one Jamaican joint over in PG County?
I was over here and I was getting a kebab.
I was over here getting the kombucha.
Damn.
Nah, I ain't had no kombucha. I get the kombucha.
I'll tell you, Boocha Hoochers. Come on over.
Man, this is how we're gonna be in our old age. You told me you was going out to eat. You had me sit here do a podcast for 3 hours.
I told the Boocha Hoochers she had to came on over. I got you, brother. We got it.
Okay.
We all get it.
All right, y'all. This has been the Guardians of Gaia podcast. Well, I hope you enjoyed yourselves. Make sure you get right there. You see that thumb button, like it, and then you get right there. Subscribe it. Wherever we put it, I ain't sure. It's the first episode. We gonna hit you with a second episode. It's gonna blow your mind. You better tune right in. Go ahead, subscribe. Hit the updates, and see you later. We the Guardians of Gaia.pma.
I'm Bliss.
I'm Brother Gaia.
Yeah.
I'm Brother Gaia.
I'm Bliss.
He's Bliss.
And, all our information's in the description below. Very helpful links of everything we talked about in the description below.
Right, and lots of links throughout, and annotated notes and captions, and all the beautiful things, maybe our link trees, and all the recommended products in the description.
Once again, this episode has been sponsored by ProVibeLife VITALI-T. And thank you for being with us. Have a beautiful month. Thanks for doing this. Thanks for doing this with me.